Round one, fight! Hello, everyone out there in Movie Hero Network land. I am Austin Ref Pez Howell this evening because we are bringing to you a very special episode of Tournament Fights this evening. Another edition in our newest wrestling series. That's right, folks. We did the best wrestlers of all time on the male end of the side. Now we're doing best tag teams of all time. That's right, the duos, the ones we love so much, tagging in and out, partners 1 and 2, partners A and B. And speaking of partners, well, I can't do this tonight without a co-host and a partner. My co-host over on a podcast about movies and a big wrestling fan himself. Please come on in, Mr. Jacob Barber in the house this evening.
Hi.
Hey, look at this.
Feels so familiar yet so different at the same time.
This is so So we have to address the elephant in the room. I'm hosting this evening, co-hosting with Jacob Barber tonight. Jordan Anderson was so kind enough to put together the bracket for this evening for us to use, but he said so himself. He's not a very big wrestling fan overall. He, the one we did where it was the individual wrestlers of all time was popular enough, but tag team's a little too niche for him. So he's just going to be sitting on the sidelines on this one and watching along. But we got a great panel for you, nonetheless, of some of the biggest wrestling fans here in our community. So, Jacob, what do you say we introduce our panel for this evening? Besides the two of us, I mean, it could just be the two of us, a tag team ourselves, but we don't want to be selfish like that. So what do you say we introduce our panel this evening?
Oh, okay.
I thought about it for a second. We could have booted him out, but I'm going to bring him in. So first of all, let's bring in the man behind Real Pro Wrestling down in Florida. Big fan himself, a promoter, an on-screen personality, you name it down there in Florida. Mr. Jordan Owens, JPO in the house tonight. How we doing, JPO?
Doing wonderful, and of course, I like to think I'm the only person here that can say I was featured in the October 2015 issue of PWI as a winner of a tag team match. So yes, thank you. Yes, it was a 6-man tag, but it still counts. And excited to be here, ready to see who's the best tag team of all time. The Blue Brothers, the Techno Team 2000, maybe Disorderly Conduct. We'll figure it out here tonight, guys.
Three count.
There's so many.
We're going to sing the 3 count 3. But I feel like they had a Freebird rule thing. Sort of. They could have any 2 of the 3. So I feel like
I'll
it counts.
3 votes to that.
All right. So, anyways, JPO's in the house, and let's introduce the Thunder from Down Under, our good friend across the oceans, Mr. Richie Goodacre, in the house tonight. Richie, how we doing, sir?
Going all right, man. Can't wait to talk about tag teams. I think that's I feel like maybe in the WWE world isn't as not much importance is placed on it, but tag teams are great. As we saw, if you watched Supercard of Honor and watched a great FTR Briscoes match. So I love tag teams. Tag team wrestling is awesome, and I can't wait to talk about High Voltage, Rage, and the other guy.
Right. And the other guy. Yeah, nobody remembers. Yeah, Rage and Chaos.
Bobby Rage and Kenny Chaos.
But FTR and Briscoes, 2 teams that might be featured tonight. We'll see if they pop up. So, we'll see what happens. But, of course, we got one more member tonight. We got to make it a 5 so we don't have a bunch of those stupid ties. So let's introduce a man who I believe, last saw on one of our Oscar shows. I know he was on our first panel we did for the other wrestlers. Mr. Steve Mesa. Mesa Media is in the house tonight. How's it going, Steve Mesa?
I mean, you certainly saved the best for last because Mesa Media is representing up in this place. And then I just love wrestling. And then, I think tag team is a lost art despite especially in the Fed right now with McMahon just obliterating every tag team and just putting big top names together and just making them into a smorgasbord.
I love me some RK Bro, baby.
Hey, some fly, some sink like a stone in the lake. You never know sometimes.
RK Bro will not be on the list. I'm sorry.
In
No,
5 years,
no.
they will be.
What about Air
could
Boo?
be.
No.
No. All right, everybody. Enough of the shenanigans. We're about to start tournament fights, and how it's going to work this evening is we've got 64 illustrious tag teams that were thrown into our randomized March Madness bracket. That once again, shout out to Jordan Anderson for putting this bracket together for us. I know he doesn't have any biases, and it was definitely random because he doesn't know most of the people on this list, so he has no idea who's the favorites and who's not. So just an extra layer of randomization. What we'll do is we're going to go around the panel and we'll vote on our favorites round by round. We try to keep it relatively fast-paced, but also realizing that this first round we got to get our thoughts about these tag teams. As long as we don't pull any Nico Wikipedia page readings, I think we'll be just fine. So just give us your thoughts, roughly about 30 seconds or so.
Is this first
one.
team Invisible Man or Invisible Stan?
No, I have just not revealed yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's invisible.
Surprise
All right,
for all of us. I know the first. I know the first team. I don't know anything else, so it's going to be a surprise for all of us.
Gotcha. Well, we will see what happens as we reveal the first one, and once we do, Mesa Media down there on the bottom, he'll be the first one. So yeah, looks like we're gonna have a nostalgia versus a little more recent, as we've got the world's greatest tag team of Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas versus the Outsiders. Rest in peace, Scott Hall. A fitting one here, Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. So this is gonna be a tough one just to start out. So we know it's gonna be tough, but Steve Mesa, what do you got?
For me, this is not really tough. This is easily going to the Outsiders. I mean, they were the disruptors of WCW. They were the people that ignited the Monday Night War. And they were there before the official formation of the New World Order when they introduced the third man, Mr. Hollywood Hulk Hogan. And then from there, the rest is history. You have NWO just demolishing every WCW talent in the way. And if it wasn't for NWO, if NWO was there, we would have had an NWO without the presence of Scott Hall and Kevin Nash. Easily Outsiders move on.
All right. That's what Mesa has to say. Richie, what do you think?
Yeah, I do like how the Outsiders graphic is from the Wrestling Buyers YouTube channel.
Hey, listen. Hey, I'm just glad, Jordan found an accurate picture. Those are the Outsiders, and it does say Outsiders.
Is that a picture of Ralph Macchio and Tom Cruise? All right, whatever.
So thank you, Jordan, for getting it accurate so far. We appreciate it once again.
I know Chris, this together. Funny.
Oh yeah, no, it's funny.
Look, I'm gonna go the Outsiders, but I'll give some props to World's Greatest Tag Team. I think they're really good. I think that both great wrestlers in their own right and great chemistry as a tag team. And I think they had untapped potential. Even though they won the WWE tag team titles and the Ring of Honor tag team titles, but I just feel like we should be talking about them more. But they didn't have as long a run as they probably should have. But yeah, I'm going the Outsiders, but big ups to Charlie Haas and Charlie Benjamin.
All right, sounds good, Mr. JPO.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's super easy because I do want to give some big props to Benjamin and Haas here. Part of the reasons I started doing amateur wrestling was because they were around in the time with them. Kurt Angle and Brock Lesnar, amateur wrestlers, were absolutely killing it in the WWE. Haas actually recently returned to wrestling. Benjamin still with WWE on and off for a couple of times, still being kind of underused. But they had some really great teams, some really great matches with the likes of Los Guerreros, Benoit and Edge, and different people here. So great tag team, but I mean, the Outsiders, I mean, the moments and memories still last on. They would still, unfortunately, until the passing of Hall, would still doing autograph appearances. The people want to meet the Outsiders. I tuned into WCW because of Nash and Hall originally, so definitely got to give some love as well to the Outsiders.
All right, Mr. Barber.
This one is tough. I feel like these are two really great tag teams. One of them's the greatest. And so how could they lose in the first round, guys? They're the world's greatest tag team.
I mean, it's in their name.
I love them as a tag team. They were around like when I was really like getting into wrestling. I was into it as a kid, but it was more because my dad was watching it, and this is when I really started enjoying it as a young teenager into an adult. I'm going to go with the one I'm just more entertained by in the ring, and that's the world's greatest tag team.
Yeah, this is tougher than you would think. Outsiders have the legacy and the star power, but yeah, World's Greatest Tag Team. I don't want to short them on their props for being an excellent tag team in the ring, especially during that hot period of SmackDown around 2003, 2004, that Ruthless Aggression era. Really good tag team. But yeah, I think I got to go with the impact that they made, and that's got to go to the Outsiders and the legacy of the fact that everybody pretty much knows who they are, even if you're a casual wrestling fan, and that goes a long way in certain spots. So I'll give it to the Outsiders, but just by a little bit. I feel like a World's Greatest Tag Team, we're up against about half the other teams on this list. I might vote for them over that. So they just got a tough break in the first round.
All right.
All right. So Outsiders move on, and we've got
the Funks.
The Funks, yeah, Terry and Dory Funk versus the Bar. Oh, a team that many folks in the chat rallied to get on this list. So let's see if they'll make it through the first round.
Hard-hitting matchup, by the way.
The Bar, yeah, this would be an excellent match. So the Funks, Dory and Terry versus the Bar, Cesaro and Sheamus.
Before we get started, we weren't the only ones that noticed we were starting on time today.
Yeah, I know. Sorry, Malcolm. You might have missed the first few minutes because of that. we're only on our second match, so we're having fun though. But Richie, you'll be first up for the Bar versus the Funks.
Yeah, just quickly. I was going to mention it before, but if you want to hit a like underrated tag team match, like with World's Greatest Tag Team, underrated ladder match, World's Greatest Tag Team versus Eddie Guerrero and Tajiri at Judgment Day. It's really good. Anyway.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I'm one of the people who fought for the Bar to be in here. Because when I'm watching wrestling, I know Terry Funk. I mostly know Terry Funk more as a singles guy. I know they're really good at as a tag team, but I haven't watched a lot of their tag team matches. So, and the Bar is a team I didn't think would work. That they were feuding, and then they just got paired together, and it was like, oh, they'd always do this, and it was like, oh, this is not going to work. And yeah, it was surprising. They had really good chemistry. They went on a really good run. So yeah, I'm going to go to the Bar here.
Okay. Mr. Owens.
I mean, they don't just set the bar; they are the bar, y'all. I mean, much love and respect to the Funks, absolutely putting in that work. But Steve kind of said before, sometimes WWE just takes two guys and fuck it, you're a tag team now. But they actually ran with these two for a little while here, and they put in some really great matches, man, with the Hardys amongst multiple other people, and it worked. It worked for a while. It worked to the point where if Cesaro did stick around and come back to WWE, I wouldn't mind seeing a return of it because it was maybe Sheamus's best matches I think he's ever had in the WWE with some of the tag matches him and Cesaro put on together. So maybe again more of a recency bias, and I've seen a little bit more of their actual work together. So I'm gonna go to the Bar.
All right, and Mr. Barber.
Oh, it's definitely a recency bias thing with me because I haven't seen very many matches of the Funks at all. If I've even seen one, like I've heard about them, obviously.
You egg sucking dog.
What?
That was Terry. It wasn't me, buddy.
Terry.
Oh, I didn't know Terry was at your house. Now I feel bad not voting for him. Because I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go with the Bar. I love the way they were formed. From that Best of 7 series, which those matches were great. I love those matches. And then, like Jordan said, they just put on some really good tag team matches and some of the best of Sheamus's career. So I'm going to go with the Bar.
Yeah, I think I'll stick with the Bar as well and keep it rolling. It's one that I omitted just because I haven't watched a whole lot of recent stuff, but I was very familiar with them. And yeah, they were very successful, especially like Owens was talking about, one of those random tag teams we kind of throw together, but actually ended up being very, very successful and kind of long running. And much prop to the Funks. And the original one with the singles wrestlers, I was a big proponent of Terry Funk on there, and I do know some guys down in Florida who were trained by Dory Funk, so much props to them. But there's other older tag teams I would probably put over them. So I'll go with the Bar. Mesa.
I mean, I was gonna go for the Funks, but at this point, it's Funk It, right? So
Funk It. Funk you.
I go for the Funks. I mean, yes, I'm. The one time that they put two big high-profile people together and it became successful. One of the 5 times that they've done it, Yeah, I'm not arguing, but for me, as a person who has admired the Japanese wrestling scene and having seen like as recent as like a couple weeks ago, the Funks taking on Bruiser Brody and Stan Hansen and taking on all those tag teams, and I believe they also won a couple of the the All Japan Pro Wrestling Tag League. I think maybe 2 or 3. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on it, but I would go. I would have gone for the Funks.
Okay. Hey, love for the Funks, and you're certainly welcome to do that. But in this case, 4-1, the bar is going to move on. And as Jacob will scroll down and reveal our next matchup, looks like the Miracle Violence Connection, Terry Gordy and Steve Dr. Death Williams against Demolition. So definitely a little more old school face off on this one. This one could get tricky. We'll go to JPO first. You got the fortunate task of this one.
Yeah, this one's pretty close. I probably have seen more of Demolition, but I really love me some Gordy and Williams. Two guys that unfortunately never made it big in, like, let's say just the WWF, but they did some great stuff, as said, in Japan and like Mid-South. So I'm gonna actually go as far as like whose match I'd rather watch. You know, Demolition may stick out as a great character to a degree. I actually would go with Miracle Violence here. Surprisingly, to even me myself. So I'm gonna go Miracle Violence Connection.
Okay. Jacob.
Yeah, so I consider myself a pretty big wrestling fan, but it started in like the mid '90s with WCW. So anything before that is if I haven't gone back to watch it at this point, I don't know if I will. So I don't know much about these two. So I'm just gonna go on. You know, which ones have I heard more about? And that's Demolition. So Demolition is
all right. Fair enough. I'm going to go with the two guys who would just beat the shit out of people, especially over in Japan and All Japan in this one. And I'm going to go, Miracle Violence with Gordy and Williams. They used to have some crazy matches with like Misawa and Kawada and some of those guys just absolutely just beating the shit out of each other, if I could be frank. I mean, just clubbering each other, crazy lariats, suplexes, you name it. Definitely the more entertaining one for me. Much love to Demolition. I mean, they definitely stood out, but I always got a little uncomfortable when they're just walking around in their old S&M outfits, to be honest. It was a little hard to watch. So I'm going to go with the two guys that just went in there and beat the shit out of people, Miracle Violence.
I think you were just turned on, Pez.
I mean, you know,
I know. Made me uncomfortable in my pants. Yeah.
If I voted for the Funks, I gotta vote for Miracle Violence Connection, guys. Come on, Terry Gordy, Dr. Death, Steve Williams beating the shit out of every single person that steps into the ring. They took on Kawada, they took on Misawa, they took on Jumbo Tsuruta, they took on Akira.
Why are you yelling at us?
I don't know. That's just how I talk. Yeah, man, they left a legacy in all Japan, and they're former All Japan Tag Champions. They also did I think a few years in WCW and even briefly in ECW. So I'm going for all Japan boys, the Miracle Violence Connection.
All right, and Richie.
Yeah, I know a little bit about Miracle Violence Connection. I know more about them individually. Steve Williams is a very underrated wrestler. I was going to say he should be in the Hall of Fame, but I think he might already be in that legacy wing or something. I don't know. I have to look that up. But I haven't actually seen much of their matches, unfortunately. I'll probably go back. I'll probably go to YouTube after this and seek some out. I did notice. I think there was one a few weeks ago on Dynamite. Dax Harwood is wearing a Miracle Violence Connection shirt, which is kind of cool. But yeah, Demolition. I've seen more Demolition. I think Demolition is great. I think they were ahead of their time. They had, especially ahead of their time with their theme music. Their theme songs are one of the best. If we do top theme songs on Tournament Fights, that will be up there because that theme song ruled. Yes,
they are. He was a Hall of Fame legacy, Steve Williams.
Yeah. I would prefer if he was in the main wing. I think he should get actual props there. But anyway, that's another time. Sorry, another time. I'll go Demolition. They should be in the Hall of Fame too, but I think they're too WWE. So not sure how that's going to happen. But yeah, Demolition.
All right. Yeah, we'll love for Demolition. This is our closest one so far with 3-2, but Miracle Violence is going to scoot into the second round. Looks good. I don't know. We got a little Money Inc. Versus Richie was just talking about from the weekend facing FTR. Yeah, the Briscoe brothers. Not those Briscoes. They're more recent Briscoes. Southern Boys versus Money Inc. $1 Million Man and IRS. So Jacob Barber, what do you got?
I've heard good things about Money Inc., but I've heard great things about the Briscoes. I've seen the Briscoes put on great matches. Again, it was the Money Inc. was before my time. I've heard about them, but I've seen the Briscoes and I've seen what they can do, and they're one of the greatest tag teams of the 2000s, 2010s. Like, come on, the Briscoes.
Yeah, I'm also going to go pretty easily here with the Briscoes. Props to Money Inc. I've been following along some of the early Monday Night Raws, and they're actually fun to watch. But the Briscoes, like, I've been a big Ring of Honor fan since literally 2002 when they started, and those guys have been in there since the beginning. I've hung out with them. Not to say I have a little bias, but I have. Jay Briscoe's phone number still in my phone right there.
You want to blow that up?
I don't know. It's probably not active. He gave it to me like 15 years ago. It's probably not the same number. So yeah. Anyways, I'm gonna go with the Briscoes here because they're awesome. So yeah.
Steve.
Yeah, I mean,
Steve.
The Briscoes are amazing tag team, dude. They just put in even a 5-star classic this past weekend against FTR, for the love of God.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they just shown. Oh, and also, I believe they were the first people to be inducted into the Ring of Honor Hall of Fame, I believe. And it shows you how much that this company cares about them, that they left so much of a legacy on their 12-time Ring of Honor tag team champions. They faced the likes of American Wolves, El Generico and Kevin Steen, and so many tag teams. I mean, they have wars with everybody that step into the ring with. So,
Richie's dog doesn't agree.
He's disagreeing with me.
Mm-hmm. That's all right. Richie, have you got a dog? Okay, we'll skip over for a second because he's having a dog fight in his room as they occasionally do. So we'll skip over to Mr. Owens. We'll come back to Richie.
I got a soft place in my heart for Money Inc. I really love the $1 Million Man and his tax guy. But man, I gotta go with them boys, man. I gotta go with them boys. As you said, debuting Ring of Honor. Show number 1. Mark couldn't wrestle because he was too young. But they've been killing it as a tag team. You guys name some of the teams they've had with the fact that they had maybe match of the weekend this past weekend and one of several matches they wrestled. They're wrestling at GCW. They wrestled the WrestleCon Super Show. They're all over the place, still putting in that work. Still one of the best, man. I'm gonna definitely champion them as long as I can. I love the Briscoes. Big props to them. So I'm gonna vote for them.
Yeah, ROH didn't let him wrestle, but CZW sure did back in 2001. The best of the best when he was like 17. They didn't give a shit. But anyways, Richie.
Come on. Match of the weekend. Did you not watch Johnny Knoxville versus Sami Zayn? I'm just gonna throw that.
Oh, that might have been the greatest match of the decade, honestly.
Okay,
a million stars.
We'll talk about it Thursday, Jordan.
Yeah, we will. We're gonna fight it evidently.
I'm gonna come on there just to talk about it for 10 minutes and then I'll leave.
No, boot him.
Well, it should be alongside Shawn Michaels and Undertaker's the greatest WrestleMania match of all time.
And I'm calling Jay Briscoe later because you gave us one.
Yeah, like he's gonna pick up. He's not gonna know who you are. He knows who I am. That's fine, Richie.
Big props to Money Inc. They're on my shirt.
Photo against people on your shirt, Richie.
We'll change it.
But they were a good tag team in their time. But yeah, the Briscoes, the fact that they started Ring of Honor in 2002, they're still going. They're still going strong. They haven't lost a step. That match at FTR was phenomenal. It's probably it's pretty easily for me the Briscoes.
All right, Briscoes with the first clean sweep of the evening over Money Inc. Moving on. And we'll scroll it on down as we've got, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Got some of the Andersons up in here against the Valiants. So another old school Jimmy Valiant, some of those guys, Ole Anderson, Jerry Anderson. All right, going back to me first. Oh, my goodness, it's me first. This one, I'm going to go Valiants were fun. I did enjoy Jimmy Valiant, Boogie Woogie Man. He's fun. But I'm going to go with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. I just like big, rough tag teams that just beat people up, like in the middle of the ring, just slam dudes and are just no nonsense. Man. Yeah, big sweaty men, just pounding on each other. It's a lot of fun. So I'm going to go with the Wrecking Crew on this one.
So I've known the Valiant Brothers more as a separate entity, as different superstars, but I know that the Minnesota Wrecking Crew can wreck some serious shit, especially if it was all the Andersons all together in one fucking room. Especially Ole, he's the most grumpiest one. But yeah, just the fact that the Minnesota Wrecking Crew and the Andersons are associated with one another. You also have to have some of these people deliver some of the best spine busters, and Arn is definitely one of the masters of spine buster, and I'm definitely gonna go with the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
All right, sounds good, Mr. Richie.
Yeah, both of these tag teams sort of before my time, but I have watched a few of these, gone back and watched a few of these guys' matches. I like Valiant Brothers, especially Jimmy Valiant, the Boogie Woogie Man. Oh yeah, all right. Boogie Woogie Man. But I think as a tag team, even though I'm more familiar with my generation with the Minnesota Stretching Crew, which is Sean Benjamin and Brock Lesnar, I will go. I think the better tag team here, in my opinion, is Minnesota Wrecking. So okay.
All right, Mr. Owens.
Might be the odd man out. I'm gonna go Valiant Brothers. Again, I kind of go with who I'd rather watch. I think I'd be more entertained by them. I think they're two entertaining gentlemen. Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Again, yeah, they're two big badasses, but we've seen teams do the same shtick and better, in my opinion. So I'm gonna go Valiant Brothers.
All right, fair enough. And Jacob Barber.
I'm gonna keep this simple. I'm just gonna go with the team with the better name, the Minnesota Wrecking Crew.
It is a nice name.
Yeah, but you can't hold that against the Valiant Brothers. They're the Valiants who are brothers. It's not their fault.
Last name.
They could have came up with a cool. They could have came up with a cool name.
All right, well then you can't vote for the Hardy Brothers later.
The Andersons are the Andersons, but they gave themselves a cool fucking name instead of just the Andersons.
Good point.
Yeah.
Defeated.
Yeah. All right. Minnesota Wrecking Crew is going to move it on 4-1. And we'll scroll on down and see what else we got. Oh, we got the Kolofs, Ivan and Nikita versus the Brainbusters. Speaking of Anderson, it's big Arn Anderson, the Enforcer, and Tully Blanchard. All right, so
the argument's going to be the same.
Yeah, Steve Mesa, you're up first.
Oh, Jesus, this is hard. This would be. This would be a really great match if I can get my hands to watch it, but. As I'm gonna go with the tag team that I know more than I do than the other, and it's gonna be the Brainbusters. I tried to mention my love for the Andersons and Arn delivering one of probably the best spine buster ever, and they had quite much. Former tag team champions, Bobby Heenan as their manager, and they've also had classics with the Rockers, especially their match at Madison Square Garden. I believe it was a 2 out of 3 falls for the WWF.
That was on Superstars, right? I just watched that this past year. It's really good.
Really good. Really fantastic. So, Kolofs. I know they're Russian, but they be rushing people a lot. But I'm gonna have to go with the person that I've watched the most work on, and that's the Brainbusters.
All right, and Mr. Richie.
Yeah, it's gonna be very similar to Steve. I think I have a Brainbuster T-shirt here too. Almost put it on instead of Money Inc. But I really like that Arn and Tully individually as well. I think they're the greatest. One of the best technical wrestlers of all time, both of them. Much being made about Arn's Spinebuster, but Well, going back through WCW recently, he delivers a really mean DDT as well. His DDT is amazing. Like it just the way he just quickly just pops it off. It's just amazing. Yeah, like I mean, much love to the Koloffs. I've seen a couple of matches, but I've seen more of the Brainbusters, and I'm a fan, so I'm going to go Brainbusters.
All right, and Jordan.
Yeah, two reasons I'm going to go with the Brainbusters. One, maybe it's a little bit of a cheat. Bobby Heenan, man. You got Bobby Heenan by your side. There's a good chance I like it just that much more. And also, I want to see Arn fight the other Anderson. So let's go with Brainbusters.
Well, if they win here, they will be theoretically fighting the other Andersons in the next match, and we'll see that later. But yeah, Jacob Barber.
Yeah, I'm going to let Michael Turner vote for me this time. Because he's going with the Brainbusters, and so am I.
All right.
Jacob just tagged in Michael Turner.
I'm also going to go and make it a sweep for the Brainbusters. Steve took the words out of my mouth. That match with the Rockers is so damn good. If you haven't gone back and watched it, 2 out of 3 falls, great stuff. If you want to see those guys just working again with Heenan in the corner. And working another great tag team that we'll see on here. Again, great power and technical prowess. And yeah, with Bobby in your corner, it's just going to be entertaining, even just watching all those guys together. So I'm going to go with the Brainbusters. And with that, it's a clean sweep for Tully and Arn, as they're going to move on to come back and face the Andersons later in this evening, later on the card. So, we got Choten, we got Hiroyoshi Tenzan and Masahiro Chono versus the Lucha Brothers. So Japan versus Mexico here. Lucha Brothers, Pentagon and Phoenix, as you might know from AEW. So we'll go Richie on this one.
Yeah, as you'll sort of a theme that will come across is I'm still trying to like get through a lot of like Japanese wrestling. It's not as accessible here, so. But yeah, I'm trying to educate myself on that. But I do know Choten as a tag team. But I mostly know. I think I'm more familiar with Chono because of his run in WCW. But I have to go Lucha Brothers here, man. It's just more my sort of era. They're fantastic. I'll take away anything from Penta, but the stuff like Phoenix can do is just amazing. Like, amazing. He never ceases to amaze me. And yeah, the cage match they had recently, winning the tag titles against Young Bucks, is phenomenal. It's one of the I think one of the best tag team cage matches of all time. It's just a fantastic match. So I'm going to go Lucha Brothers.
All right, Jordan Owens.
Just so Steve gets mad that no one from Japan makes it, Lucha Brothers.
Hey, I included a couple of these teams for you, Mesa. So we'll see if they make it or not. But Jacob,
much appreciated.
Yeah. Jacob.
Lucha. Oh
no, that's a different team. That's
the wrong Lucha team.
You should let Michael Turner vote on this one.
Yeah, no. I'm gonna cast my own vote here because I love the Lucha Bros. They might be my favorite tag team currently working. And anytime they're on, like, I will watch their match. They are fantastic. Choten, I didn't see Japanese is really not on my radar, so I didn't even know they were a tag team until Austin sent the list. So
Jacob has zero fear of casting his vote.
All right. And I'm gonna make Mesa happy here, even though they're not gonna win. I'm voting for Choten because I'd rather watch Japanese strong style guys beating the shit out of each other, suplexing each other all over the place, throwing them forearms, throwing those knees, doing the thing. I like Lucha Libre wrestling. I like the Lucha Bros. They had a great match. I did watch it live against the Young Bucks in the cage. That was fun. But I'm actually not as familiar with them, other than a few other matches here, there, maybe in PWG. But yeah, Choten are great. And 5-time IWGP Tag Team Champions, man. Put some respect on their name. Choten.
Put some respect on their name.
All right, Steve.
And to put some additional respect on the name, I'm voting for Choten, even though they won't be won. So how about that? And capture their 5th IWGP Tag Team Championship against the team of Shinsuke Nakamura and Hiroshi Tanahashi. How about them apples?
Mm-hmm.
What kind of apples?
Still doing it.
Granny apples.
I got her number.
All right. Well, a little love for Choten going their way. Check out some of their matches. We're
Maybe.
moving on to the other team
Oh,
on the
there's the
list.
other one.
Tenkozy, Satoshi Kojima, and Tenzan again. Tenzan putting 2 teams on the map over Japan against the Fabulous Ones, which is another old school interesting tag team. So we will go to Jordan Owens for this one for Tenkozy versus the Fabulous Ones. And by the way, that's Steve Kern and Stan Lane.
Gotta love a fancy Skinner, right, everybody?
That's right.
Fabulous Ones were fun. They had their potential, but I don't feel like it lasted as long, or they ever made much of an impact for me to really vote for them. So I'm not super familiar with either one of them, but gotta go with Tenkozy for the reasons you said for the last round. They are the ones I would want to watch more here. I really like these two separately, and from what I've seen together, they create a good tag team. So yeah, let's go with that. Tenkozy. There you go, Steve.
Thank you.
All right, Jacob.
Just because I'll throw Steve a bone here. I'll give Steve one, and I'll go.
He's
Tenkozy
talking
here.
Oh, I thought you're gonna pull a sword and go. I'm talking Steve Kern, Fabulous One.
No, not this time. This is the only one you get, Steve.
Fine. I'll accept it with a great grin.
All right. All right. I'm going with Tenkozy here. NWO Japan representing from 1999-2000. Yeah, no, good stuff here. I'd rather watch Japanese wrestling. But Stan Lane was a part of a better tag team later on. And yeah, Steve Kern is Skinner. He was never the greatest, let's be honest. But those ones were fun, and they had some good matches with a few teams back in the day. I'll give it to Japan on this one. Tenkozy. Steve.
Come on, guys. You have to even ask, please. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Exactly.
I got you.
Okay, so Richie.
I'm more familiar. This is going to make it wasn't there long, but I'm more familiar with Stan Lane as when he did that brief stint in commentary, he was pretty bad at. I've seen some of the Fabulous Ones matches. Come back and watch them. But yeah, I'll probably give it to Tenkozy here too. I'm not trying to watch their matches. I've seen some of their stuff on YouTube, and I'd rather watch their match than Fabulous Ones. So Tenkozy.
Let's go.
All right. So this time it'll be a clean sweep for Team Japan. All right, as we got the Nasty Boys and Knobs and Sags against the Young Bucks. This one might be academic, but I'll still go around the horn. Jacob. The Nasty Boys and the Young Bucks. This would be a really bad match, like a really piss poor match, and not because of the Bucks, but because of the Nasty Boys. This would be a terrible, terrible match. But yeah, Jacob.
Young Bucks.
Yeah, right. All right. Yeah. I mean, come on. Yeah, the Nasty Boys are. I mean, they're included on here. It's because the Young Bucks.
Young
They've
Bucks.
just been around forever.
Young Bucks, top 5, probably one of the best tag teams in the world right now. Maybe the best tag team in the world right now.
All right, Richie. Same, I assume.
Yeah, I mean, I'll talk about Young Bucks. I suppose a little bit. I feel like, it sounds mean, but I feel like they're kind of they owe a lot of their fame to Hulk Hogan, being friends with him. They're not good wrestlers, particularly Brian Knobs, unfortunately. But there's some charisma there. Like, I don't know, they had decent dumb matches with Public Enemy. If you're not looking for a technicality, they can be fun on NWCW. But that's no brainer. It's Young Bucks. They're one of the best tag teams in the world. They have been one of the best tag teams in the world for quite a while. So I'm going to go with Jim Cornette to Nightmare Fuel, the Young Bucks.
All right, Jordan Owens.
I remember them having some really killer matches in TNA and going, this is a team to watch. And of course, I'm talking the Nasty Boys when they debuted in TNA. You know what? I sold from my eBay store at Ben Affleck some Nasty Boys lapel pin today. So somebody likes the Nasty Boys. And I really enjoyed buying their WCW figures back in the day. But yeah, I mean, come on. I got to go with the Young Bucks here. Come on.
Yeah, it's going to be easy sweep for the Young Bucks, Mr. Barber. Move them on now over. Maybe they'll have some better challengers later. We shall see.
Well, let's see. They could go up against either the
Miz and Morrison or the APA.
APA.
All right, the Acolytes versus Miz and Morrison, who just kind of squeaked in. We had some people who were fans of them. We considered swapping them, but they just squeaked in. So, Mr. Owens, I believe you were one of those. So tell us why you love Miz and Morrison, please.
Yes, you guys. I'll even spoil it. We're trying to like put too cool over them. No, guys. Your attitude bias needs to stop right here, right now. Miz and Morrison took a spot on the ECW roster and fucking made it work to the main roster. Miz wouldn't be a world champion if it wasn't for the stuff that him and Morrison did. They were super entertaining. It was one of the most watched things on the WWE website. That's what made WWE take notice of these two. They were entertaining. They absolutely made what little they had work. And so much so that a decade plus later, they reunited these two and they had some more fun. Hey, ho, ho. APA is entertaining, but match-wise, even longevity-wise, Miz and Morrison deserve a spot on this list, and they're getting my vote. Just don't tell Farouk I said that because he'd kick my ass.
Why are you yelling at us?
I don't know.
I don't know what we're yelling about.
It's a very yelly show.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's all right. He made his case. Maybe somebody will follow him. Jacob Barber.
Yeah.
Maybe
No,
we'll
Jordan, everything you said is true, 100%, and that's why I got to go with the APA.
You are. I saw that coming. I need you.
Look, I've never been a fan of The Miz ever in any of his runs. Logan Paul is a better worker than him, and he proved it this weekend. Miz has never been good. Logan's a better worker, better personality, and Miz has 20 years on him. So I'm going to go with the APA.
No way.
As Jim Ross said it best, when the APA comes in, you know somebody's going to get their ass whipped, and they were always fun to watch, even if they're just beating the shit out of Public Enemy for real. So go look up that match on Sunday Night Heat, APA. All right, Steve.
You know what? I'm going to give this to Jordan. I'm going to vote for the Miz and Morrison.
Yes.
I think it's absolutely what Jordan said. They took two people who were not really functioning together separately, and they came together to create the dirt sheet, to create these skits and basically they were doing YouTube before Zack Ryder even got to the Long Island IC story. So they were getting up there in the YouTube before Ryder got his chance on technology, and they reunited together and once again got gold together. And I think they, me personally rooting for Damian Priest and Bad Bunny all side at WrestleMania, but I think Miz and Morrison deserve one of the spots that's probably one of the not best tag teams of all time, but probably one of the best WWE tag teams. Maybe top 20. So I'm going to give it to the Miz and Morrison.
Don't vote and shit talk them, Steve. Damn it.
I know. I'm going to have it both ways, though.
By the way, Damian Priest and Bad Bunny, not on the list.
Not on the list.
No. All right, Richie, you can break the tie here. It's up to you.
What about Damian Priest and Edge? They've done a lot. Like 2 weeks. Anyway. I like Miz and Morrison. I think they're a decent tag team. I do subscribe to Austin's idea though that I think Miz gets carried to good matches. I don't think he's a good wrestler. He's a good talker. That's what like people always talk about the thing with Daniel Bryan. He's a good talker. He can be entertaining, but as a tag team, I'm sorry, Jordan, but APA are great, and they should be in the Hall of Fame as a tag team. I think they're from they evolved from the Acolytes, who are a good tag team and could kick your ass, but then they developed sort of personality with it when they came with APA, and JBL is not my favorite personality in the world, but I got to give him credit here I really I was transfixed when they would come on screen because they were just a tag team that could kick your ass, especially Public Enemy. They literally fucking kick the shit out. So APA.
All right. Well, it was a close one, but 3-2, APA squeaks it out. They move on.
I'm
All
sorry.
right, so here we go. Got Christopher Daniels and Frankie Kazarian, who've been teaming for a lot longer than people realize, versus old school Hollywood Blondes, Steve Austin, pre-Stone Cold Steve Austin, and Brian Pillman. So, yeah, old school WCW here versus new school. So, Jacob Barber, you have to go first on this one.
I do, and this is a match I wouldn't mind seeing. I'm gonna give this one to longevity and just who I've seen more of, because they've been more relevant in the time that I can remember. So I'm gonna go with Daniels and Kazarian on this one.
Yeah, Daniels and Kazarian are fun, and they're a great team. I like them both individually. I'm going old school on this one because I think Hollywood Blondes were a standout tag team in a run where there was not a lot of really great standout tag teams, kind of like 93, 94 kind of era, and they really stood out and made a name for themselves. And Steve Austin's a great worker, Brian Pillman's a great worker, and it was a good tag team. So I'm gonna go with the Hollywood Blondes on this one. Mesa.
I'm gonna go with the Bad Influence, aka the Addiction, aka SoCal Uncensored. I mean, these guys have basically gone across the decade in different promotions, from TNA to Ring of Honor to currently All Elite Wrestling. It's for sure, and I think one of the best tag matches in Ring of Honor has to be the Ladder Wars between I believe it was Addiction, Motor City Machine Gun, and Young Bucks for the tag titles. And I believe it was one of the Las Vegas shows. That blew my mind, and that made me a fan of the Addiction, aka SoCal Uncensored, aka Bad Influence. So I'm going for Daniels Kazarian there.
Okay, and Richie.
Yeah, I'm still going back and forth here. I've seen more of Daniels and Kazarian. I went back and watched a lot of Hollywood Blondes, and so they have great chemistry. They're a great tag team. Hope it, if Austin goes in twice, it'll be for this later in the Hall of Fame twice. It'll be because Hollywood Blondes get in, which they should. Just look, it's close, but just because I've seen more matches and Daniels and Kazarian are great, and also they were the only standout in a terrible Clear Lynch storyline in TNA. So I will say, I'll say Daniels and Kazarian.
All right, fair enough. All right, and Jordan Owens.
Yeah, it's a tough one because Hollywood Blondes, the kind of detriment is the longevity. Is this was kind of killed before it could have kept going forward and really been something to really mark this tournament. Daniels Kazarian do have the longevity. They maybe even have the match record here. If I'm going simply by maybe entertainment, though, Daniels Kazarian, I love them, but they're kind of just. I still feel like even to this day are just kind of two dudes together, and Hollywood Blondes I think is a real team. I'm gonna go Blondes.
Okay, so some love for Hollywood Blondes. It wasn't close, 3-2, but Daniels and Kazarian, whatever you want to call them in any given week, many names that Steve Kissel mentioned. Yeah, they are moving on. So we got you didn't know? Yeah, the New Age Outlaws versus the Blackjacks. You got Lance and Mulligan, the Blackjacks versus Road Dogg and Mr. Ass.
I think we're not going off the run that they're pictured in right there. We're not.
Hold on. I was gonna say this is probably for the original Blackjacks, right?
Yeah, he might have got the wrong one, but that's okay. It doesn't matter because
it's okay.
Yeah, it doesn't matter because my vote's going to go to the New Age Outlaws. You asked me to call somebody, and they were a great tag team. And I feel like they kind of get lost in the shuffle sometime in that sort of early Attitude Era. Once the Hardys and the Dudleys and Edge and Christian kind of came on, they sort of got lost in the shuffle. But they were a great team, really popular, really over, and look at. Billy Gunn fucking looks exactly the same now as he did back then. So, yeah, I'm going to go New Age Outlaws.
Well, that was only 10 years ago.
Hey, you're asking to call somebody because New Age Outlaws is definitely moving on to this one, in my opinion. New Age Outlaws, they were the first they were one of the people to popularize, in my opinion, South Park, actually, because they wore the South Park T-shirts right before, and then you see all the South Park all those South Park signs all over the sign. I think they brought South Park to wrestling and other way around. But besides that, they're great tag team. They're multi-time tag team champions. They as recent as 2014 they won the tag team championship, or 2013, excuse me. But yeah, I'm definitely gonna go with my attitude heart is leaning towards the New Age Outlaws here.
All right, sounds good, Mr. Richie.
Yeah, yeah, I have to go. New Age Outlaws here. I like the Blackjack. I like a big they didn't kick your ass. Blackjack fit that mold, but New Age Outlaws is just right. Right in the nostalgia like for childhood, and yeah, yeah, they're great as a tag team. That they're sort of both formed when they were in similar positions. I think Road Dogg was like Jeff Jarrett's sort of lackey, and I think Billy Gunn was Honky Tonk Man lackey, I think. And then so they just sort of just came together. I think it was just one of those things like, well, let's throw them together, and yeah, it was magic. It's a pity that Ass Boys aren't on this list, but we'll go New Age Outlaws.
No Ass Boys here. New Age Outlaws gets Richie's vote. Mr. Owens, who you voting for?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, DJ Generation X proudly brings to you its 6-time tag team champions of the world, the badass Billy Gunn, the Road Dogg Jesse James, the New Age Outlaws. Yeah, I mean, Blackjack's Heyman for your day. Pretty good that they even tried to do a retread with Wyndham and Bradshaw, but endlessly entertained by the New Age Outlaws in the late 90s, man. They are part of the reason why DX still worked even after Shawn left. Is because these two Triple H were just so entertaining, from from even dumpster matches to even sadly kind of breaking up and whatnot. So I got to go New Age Outlaws here.
All right, Jacob's going to be a clean sweep.
It is, because I think purely from an entertaining standpoint, the New Age Outlaws could be like at the top of the list, like from promos to just everything, like outside of the ring, like they are top notch, and then even inside the ring, they're really good. I mean, do the Blackjacks have a catchphrase that they can come back every year and people still say it along with you? I don't think so. The New Age Outlaws do. I mean, 30 years later, 20 years later, people are still chanting along with them. So yeah, it's a clean sweep.
All right, clean sweep for the Outlaws. And we'll scoot on down here. Oh, we got the Hart Foundation. Could be a heavy favorite here versus the Von Erich boys, the Von Erich brothers. So Texas representing here against Jim Neidhart and Bret Hart. So Steve Mesa, I saw you kind of groan there. This is going to be a tough one for you with the Von Erichs and the Hart Foundation. What do you got?
The best of the South versus the best of the North. Canadians best versus Texas best. Who am I going for? I'm wow. So I'm gonna go with probably the first tag team that I really liked out of the two of them, and that's gonna be the Hart Foundation. I mean, Bret Hart, Jim Neidhart. Jim Neidhart basically. I mean, both Neidhart having charisma of like out the wazoo in those awesome promos, and always ending their promos with his sinister laugh, and Bret chiming every once in a while. Yeah, and the Heart Attack. I mean, Heart Attack has become an iconic finisher at this point. I mean, being used from FTR to Natalia and Shayna. So I'm gonna go with the Hart Foundation here.
All right, sounds good, Richie.
Yeah, much love to the Von Erichs. They're a very talented tag team. Yeah, unfortunately, tragically, it's probably a case of untapped potential. I think they could have, been one of the greats. But one of the greats. What is Hart Foundation? In my opinion, I think they're fantastic. They hit Jim Neidhart and Bret just gel so well together. They're also one of the rare ones. If we did best factions, it might actually, Hart Foundation might win that too. But I will go Hart Foundation.
Okay, and Jordan.
Oh baby, this is a tough one, man. Of course, there's love for Hart Foundation, but guys, I'm gonna go Von Erichs. They lit the freaking world on fire where they were, man. They were worshipped. They were teen idols, gods, whatever you want to say, man. And they were entertaining in the ring too. You know what I mean? So I'm gonna actually go. I'm gonna go Von Erichs personally.
Fair.
Okay, Jacob.
Yeah, my favorite Von Erich is Lacey.
No,
My
stop
favorite,
it.
my favorite heart is Owen. So,
Wow.
My favorite Lacey Von Erich quote: "What's the NWO? Is that like a new company you work for, Kevin?"
no, I mean this might be an unpopular opinion, but I really don't care for either of these tag teams.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, no.
Spicy.
I'll keep it interesting. I'll send it to a tiebreaker, and I'll go with the Von Erichs.
Okay. I have a lot of love for the Von Erichs, just with a somewhat personal connection. My grandfather was actually best friends with Fritz Von Erich for most of his life, so he knew the Von Erich family over in Texas, and yeah. But it's another kind of tragic family situation. They were a great tag team, but the ones I'm just a personally bigger fan of is got to be the Hart Foundation. So I'm going to give it to the Harts on this one, and they just have that kind of classic like tag team thing where Brett was the worker. Neidhart was the big powerhouse who, got the hot tag and cleaned house. And, it was just kind of that classic tag team combination. And just worked really well. So I'm going to go with the Hearts.
Took me till just now to realize that Jonathan was saying the Hearts and not just showing his love for us.
Oh.
I like to think it was both. It was both.
I thought that's what it was.
Could have called me.
Yeah.
Love this show.
All right. So here we go. We got the Dudley Boys, a heavy favorite here on this one against the I think it's supposed to say the Fantastics, not the Fanatics. The Fantastics. So Jordan made a little spelling error there. But that's the Fantastics, Bobby Fulton and Tommy Rogers against the Dudley Boys. But it may not matter because I have a feeling where this one might go. But Richie?
Yeah. I haven't seen much Tommy Rogers and Bobby Fulton as a tag team. But like the Dudley Boys are the most decorated tag team of all time. That was demonstrated in that picture there. They're just fantastic. You can't imagine one without the other. Even though like they're both good single wrestlers in their own right, but they're fantastic. They get the crowd. Yeah, they're so over wherever they go. People still chant we want tables because of the Dudley Boys. Much love to them. I think they'll go far. The Dudley Boys for sure.
All right, JPO.
I mean, we all love the Fanatics, right, guys? But
they're fantastic.
They should change their name. No, they were entertaining, but at the same time, we've seen this kind of gimmick by other teams before and after, and arguably done maybe better sometimes. The Dudleys, man, they're kind of once in a lifetime here, man. I'm a big fan of those three major teams from the late '90s, early 2000s. Them, Edge and Christian, the Hardys, lighting the world on fire, winning the titles everywhere. Technically WCW, but mostly WWE, TNA, ECW being the top team there at different times. So definitely my heart got to go towards the Dudleys. This might be the biggest one-sided for me yet.
All right, and Jacob.
I mean, I feel like I don't even need to justify voting for the Dudleys, so I'm not going to. It's the Dudleys.
I think you say I'm not going to, so I'm going to vote for the Fanatics.
I vote for the Fanatics, who aren't even a real team.
Fanatics.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, this one's going to be an easy one for the Dudleys. I mean, pretty much 25 years of tagging together, winning titles everywhere they went on every continent, just all over the damn place. One of the longest lasting and best tag teams ever. And every time they come back or make some kind of resurgence somewhere, it works, and they're awesome. So, yeah, I think they're a heavy favorite to maybe take this whole thing. So I'll go the Dudleys as well. Steve?
Get the tables because the Dudleys are putting the Fanatic table here.
Mm-hmm.
Dudley Boys, guys. I mean, it's already been said. There's not much more for me to say, so let's have them advance.
All right. Well, sorry, Fanatics, but the Dudley Boys just put your ass through a table. give you the 3D. So we're gonna move on. Oh, we got the Kings of Wrestling, Chris Hero and Claudio Castagnoli versus Beer Money, a little TNA with James Storm and Bobby Roode. So this could be an interesting matchup here. Kind of Kings of the Indies versus Kings of TNA for a little while. So we go to JPO for the first one this time.
Damn, I don't want to go first. Yeah, this is an interesting one, man, because I love wrestling from all companies, man, and I love the fact that we have some ROH representation here, some TNA representation here. So this is an interesting battle, man, too. Not too far off time wise, too, even of these two. Like this could have been a match if you were like an indie with a lot of money. Damn, man, Beer Money's really entertaining. Another good example of kind of like two dudes that at the time weren't doing anything in singles and put together and made it work. Kings of Wrestling, though, maybe I just got to go for that ROH work rate, man. Again, mentioning stuff with the Briscoes and everyone here, some of the classics they put on. People hoping that they were even going to bring it to the WWE at one point. And still, even to this day, I know one of the rumors people were like, maybe in Ring of Honor, maybe if Cesaro's available. So I'm going to go Kings of Wrestling by a little bit here, man. Both really cool teams, though.
All right. Sounds good. Jacob.
I was hoping he'd talk longer. You know what? I'm gonna show some love to Beer Money. I don't ask me why. I flipped a coin in my head. Could have gone either way. I think Beer Money is highly entertaining. I think Kings Wrestling. I think they're really great in the ring, but I flipped it. It could go either way. And right now, I'm saying Beer Money, but if you ask me in 10 minutes, I'll probably say Kings of Wrestling. So it's that close.
All right. This one is not as tough for me personally because I didn't watch a lot of TNA around the time Beer Money were kind of running wild on the tag teams over there. But I was watching a lot of Ring of Honor and indie stuff around the time that Hero and Castagnoli were tearing it up, and I think they just had some of the best chemistry, great double team moves, just both guys great workers individually, and I just thought they were just they were money in the ring, not beer money, but they were just plain old great money in the ring. So I'm going to go with the Kings of Wrestling on this one. Steve.
Claudio and Hero. Probably one top 10, in my opinion, tag teams of all time. Kings of Wrestling, no doubt. Let's move on.
Okay. Short and sweet. Richie.
Man, this is pretty heartbreaking for me, man. Beer Money is my favorite tag team ever.
No.
My best my favorite tag team of all time. I don't know what how they did it for me, but just like, yeah, I just like, again, maybe like it's about those two guys that sort of paired together and they just made it work. I love the chemistry, love all their matches. When Bobby Roode came to WWE, and then James Storm was here in there briefly doing a few matches, I wanted them to just make sure there's a bigger tag team. Every time Bobby Roode's in a tag team, and no offense to the Dirty Dogs with Dolph Ziggler, they were decent. But I'm like, no, this is not Beer Money. Beer Money is I don't know. I think they're a fantastic tag team and one of the best in the history of TNA. Kings of Wrestling are great, but again, I didn't watch a lot of get access to a lot of Ring of Honor, so I have to go sort of back and watch their matches. But I will go Beer Money.
Maybe if Tony Khan gets that streaming service going, now that he's got that Ring of Honor catalog, he can get it up and everybody can go back and watch a lot of these matches. But we'll see what happens. But sorry, Richie. Beer Money went against the Fanatics. Maybe they would have moved on just one more earlier. But sorry about that. All right, so we're gonna move on to some more SmackDown. Paul London and Brian Kendrick versus the another heavy favorite, the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson. So London and Kendrick may have a tough one here. We're going to Jacob.
They do, and I think I know how this is going. Although there's been surprises in tournament fights before. I'm going London and Kendrick. They are absolutely like one of my two favorite tag teams of the 2000s. I absolutely love them. They are fantastic in the ring. They're a tag team. They're a small tag team, and I did not expect them to hold those titles as long as they did. They had a great run, a great string of matches. I particularly love the 4-way ladder match. I think that match is great. Sorry, Joey Mercury, about your nose. Sucks, but whatever. So I'm going to go London and Kendrick, even though I think I know the legacy of the Rock and Roll Express, and I know how huge of a tag team they are. But London and Kendrick were like my tag team when I was a teenager.
Fair enough. This one's easy for me. This is an easy one for Rock and Roll. I think they're legit one of the greatest tag teams of all time. They are still wrestling to this day. They just had a match with FTR not too long ago. They're still killing it, which I know that one made the rounds. But they've wrestled in 5 different decades. If you think about the 80s, 90s, all the way up till today, they have been killing it forever. They again have that classic chemistry. Ricky Morton, one of the greatest babyface sellers and workers I think ever, one of the most underrated ones of all time, and Ricky Morton doing his thing in that House of Fire after that hot tag, man. So it's a formula that works, and they've had great matches with damn near everybody. So Rock and Roll Express. Steve?
I have to agree with you, Pez. Definitely is going to go with the Rock and Roll Express. I mean, from what I've heard, this is going to be their last year retiring. They're going out. They're going to retire. They're going to retire after this year, and they're going on with, like you said, they had their match with FTR. They're going to even have their match with the Good Brothers at Lariata Pro Wrestling, and I think in a month or at the end of this month, I think. So they're trying to get in as many tag matches before they decide to hang up their boots. So I'm Rock and Roll Express. I love London and Kendrick back when I was watching them, but in terms of longevity and being one of the best tag team and one of the most innovative tag teams of all time, Rock and Roll Express definitely needs to move on.
All right, Richie.
Not only like Rock and Roll Express Tour Wrestling, I think as early as a couple of years ago they won the NWA tag titles. That was like just great. That's crazy. But yeah, and they're fantastic. Paul and Brian Kendrick is sort of more of my era, and I think they, obviously there was 2 guys, Crusaders paired together. They couldn't have anything else for them, and I assumed that when Jacob, when they won the tag titles, they're just gonna have a short run. But yeah, in last nearly a year, and they have really good chemistry. That ladder match was awesome. I think it's overshadowed by the fact that Joey Mercury, just smashed his face and never truly recovered from that, unfortunately. But I have to go. I'm talking best tag team. I really have to go Rock and Roll Express to go truly for longevity as well. So Rock and Roll Express.
All right, Jordan.
I love London. I love Kendrick, 2 guys that I think, unfortunately for their size, never got to go that next level of WWE. I think they're both fantastic. I even love their tag title run. It was long. Unfortunately, though, it was also one of those kind of swept over runs. You know what I mean? They had a couple pay-per-view appearances. It was a lot of just kind of the weekly show sometimes. Never really a focal point as it kind of should have been, and brought to that next level, even though the days add up. Got to go Rock and Roll Express for their longevity. As Richie said, they were NWA Tag Champs. Their last 3 runs were 98, 2000, and 2020. They're still wrestling. One of the weirder matches you'll find from WrestleCon weekend was over at the Super Show, where there's a 10-man tag with Colt Cabana, Juice Robinson, Rock and Roll Express, and Onita from FMW, the Exploding Ring Guy. So they're still doing it. I believe Morton's not even going to retire. I think he said after this year he's going to focus on teaming with his son the year after that. So it's the end of Rock and Roll Express, but Morton still wants to go on even past this. So longevity, they're fun. They're still doing it, man. I'm surprised. We've seen them pop up on AEW. I'm surprised they haven't had a match yet on AEW. I feel like we could see that by the end of the year. So I'm going to go Rock and Roll Express.
All right. Well, a little love for London and Kendrick. They had a tough draw here, as Rock and Roll Express is going to move along here to the next round.
Suck. That's the end of the
All right, and we made it through the first side. We're doing good on time. Excellent job, everybody. So we're through the first side. We still got a lot of heavy hitters to come. A lot of people haven't come up yet, so we will see what we got on the other side. But man, we're going to have some tough matchups over there on that side in the next round. All right, we're going to start off with the Fabulous Freebirds Yeah, a little bit of the Freebird rule. They kind of invented it themselves. Going up against the Usos, so maybe a little recency versus old school here. I'm up first. So, yeah, it's this is one of those things where I do like the Freebirds. Bad Street USA is a great theme song. Those guys were awesome. But man, the Usos have been like low key killing it for a long time in WWE, and yeah, a long time. It's almost to the point where they're almost underrated. Like it's a weird thing to say, even though they've won titles all over the place and always had great matches. But I'm gonna go with the Usos on this one. Steve.
Usos, they are top 5 tag team right now. As of we speak right now, that are active, they're top 5 tag team of all time. They had their matches with New Day alone puts them up there with one of the best tag teams of all time. I still remember even that Hell in a Cell match that they had. I think it was 2017, I believe. But even that, all their other matches that they had with each other, you put even as recent as day one, every time you put the New Day and Usos together, comes tag team magic. So I'm going for the Usos, and they're going to be Hall of Famers for sure, because I think they've worked their ass off from where they started when they debuted with Tamina, and now you see them aligned with Roman as part of the bloodline, and they always find themselves in the mix with somebody somehow. And I think, like I said, top 5 tag teams probably as of we speak actively right now. So Usos.
Okay, Richie.
Yeah, I love the Freebirds. I now got Bad Street USA stuck in my head.
Bad Street, Atlanta, PA, Atlanta, GA, Bad Street.
It's really cool. So again, if we did the theme songs, that would come up. But yeah, the Usos, like definitely they're one of the best modern tag teams, and in a company that doesn't focus on tag teams really, but they're fantastic. Unfortunately, calling it top 5 modern tag teams is not really a huge praise because they only have 5 tag teams. I feel that, but yeah, they are fantastic. The work with Roman is just it is great. Just so much charisma. Individually they're great. Like I love his angle with a storyline with Roman, Jay's storyline with Roman. But yeah. They're fantastic, and yeah, got great chemistry with New Day. One of the few tag teams that are future Hall of Famers. So I'm going to go the Usos.
All right, Jordan.
I mean, yeah, again, kind of like you guys have set up already. Shout out and love to the Freebirds. The fact that we still reference them whenever there's a stable that does, you know what I mean, different members. It's the Freebird rule. We're still saying it to this day, so that is kind of cool. But yeah, I gotta go Usos, man. We've seen them truly transform from developmental guys to like decent roster members to the best tag team going. And even if you say that the bars maybe not that high, they're still really great. Like you can't deny that. You guys mentioned the New Day matches. The Bar, they've actually had great matches with the Bar, the Shield, the Wyatt family. They're constantly still doing good. They've reinvented themselves along with Roman in the last year and a half. Where it feels like we're still haven't seen necessarily the zenith of what they can do. So yeah, they've slowly become one of my favorite tag teams going today. So I got to go acknowledge the Usos.
All right, Jacob is going to be a clean sweep.
I see what you did there. Yeah, it is going to be a clean sweep. I mean, what have we said about the Freebirds? We mentioned the Freebird rule and we mentioned their theme song. We didn't really mention their in-ring work. Whereas we're talking about the Usos and their in-ring work and how they've put on classic matches with so many tag teams. I mean, Jordan, you brought up the Wyatt family. Their match with Harper and Rowan at, I believe it was Battleground, if I'm not mistaken. It was some.
I was there.
Yeah, it was some like
Hey.
B pay-per-view. It wasn't one of the bigger ones, but that match was fantastic. And I think it's one of the Usos' best, along with that Hell in a Cell match. Might be like one of my top 3 favorite Hell in a Cell matches, and there have been some really good Hell in a Cell matches. So yeah, the Usos. It's a clean sweep. Let's put them through. I forgot I was running the bracket for a second.
Yeah, put them through, Jacob. The Usos. They could be a dark horse in this tournament to make it very far. So we'll see. All right. Well, we've got
Jordan's
two
favorite
cool,
tag
very
team.
contentious, very caused a lot of stir in the comments. Attitude Era represented, but against Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, whatever you want to call them. They've had many names over the years as well. Luke Gallows and Anderson versus Too Cool. Steve Mesa, you're up first on this one.
Guys, we talked about my love for Japanese wrestling, and come on, we're talking about Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, two of the founding members. Well, one of the founding members of the Bullet Club, if we're going to be exact. But the fact that they were part of the Bullet Club at the beginning until they left to go to the Fed, and they're multi-time IWGP Tag Team Champions. Luke, Carl Anderson being a G1 Climax semifinalist against Shinsuke Nakamura. But I for sure, and the fact that they did everything that they did to try to get over into the Fed, despite what they've been told what I've heard about recently, that beat up John Cena hashtag. Not a lot of people were a fan of it, especially in the company. So they only did it up only like one night, and after that, they're like, nope, that's it, no more. We just did it because the company people didn't like them, but they're still killing it at Impact, and they're killing it all over they're going. I mean, they're entrepreneurs. They're self-made people. They have their Talking Shop podcast. They're doing their live shows with the Talking Shop, and sometimes making appearance with the Major Brothers toy show. So I'm going with Gallows and Anderson here.
Okay, Richie.
First of all, I'll say much love to Too Cool. I think they're one of the most overacts in the Attitude Era. And they're a good tag team in their own right. But yeah, like they're when you So when I think of Attitude Era, I do think Too Cool a lot. They had great chemistry. I liked how every time Grandmaster Sexy came out, Jerry Lawler had to pretend that they're not related. They're not related. It was quite funny. But the better tag team here is Gallows and Anderson. Gallows and Anderson are slowly becoming one of the better tag teams of the modern era. I think they're just they're fantastic. The chemistry, they're entertaining. Much like the Dudleys, they pick up belts wherever they go. They at WrestleMania weekend at Impact's Multiverse of Matches, they just pinned the Briscoes. So I will go with Gallows and Anderson. Sure.
All right. And Jordan.
Bring it on back around. I like Too Cool. For the record, I do think they deserve to be on here. Fun act. Scott Too Hottie, by the way, also still killing it. Him and Rich Swann having a good match WrestleCon weekend. But yeah, I gotta go with my good brothers, man. My good brothers, Luke and Carl, killing it in Japan, making that turn to WWE. That debut, man, they were freaking over. They still were able to hold the tag titles on a couple different occasions here, and coming back now to the States, having an AEW run simultaneously with Impact for a little while here, and still being kind of the focal point of the Impact Tag Division. Upcoming rematch with GOD, being very much looking forward to. So, as Luke Gallows' good friend Sex Ferguson says, if you don't vote for them, then fuck you, buddy.
All right, Jacob.
Too Cool was fine. I think they were better with Rikishi. I think that's when they were those two. Whatever, they're fine. I'm gonna go with Carl Anderson and Festus. I mean, Luke Gallows.
All right.
Oh, ring that bell, ding ding.
You mean the guy that Vince McMahon forgot was Festus when he rehired him and didn't recognize him? Yeah.
Or should I say Imposter Kane?
Yeah. I much love the Too Cool as well. I think they're really entertaining, and people underestimate how over they were back in the year 2000. They were really, really over, and they got over very quickly as well, within a couple of weeks of them kind of debuting as a team. So much love to that to get over at that time. But yeah, Gallows and Anderson is the real workhorse team here, and yeah, they've been killing it for over a decade now and doing their thing. So I'll make it a clean sweep for Gallows and Anderson.
That round was too sweet.
All right, we've got the British Bulldogs. We've got
shit.
Davey Boy and Dynamite Kid versus the New Day. Ooh, and I tell you what, this would be a hell of a match with the prime British Bulldogs versus the New Day. This would be a heck of a match. Nice little dream match for Richie. Oh, I saw you sigh there, but unfortunately you got to go first on this one. So, all right.
Okay. I think the Bulldogs are, one of the best tag teams. I love watching them wrestle. They're fantastic. But the New Day, I don't know. The New Day's it's head in. It shouldn't work. It wasn't working. That they were brought in as heel sort of preachers. There was going to be this idea that was going to be like a new sort of a newcoming nation of domination, and then they just changed their gimmick, and they were going to be preachers, and they were supposed to be baby faces. They're getting booed, so they turned them heels, and then they just went with it and became one of the most over acts in wrestling, and they're fantastic. I'm really, it sucks that I don't mind either way who goes through, but I'll go the New Day.
All right, and Jordan.
Sometimes this happens in tournament fights. That's the fun and the tragicness of making it completely random, because British Bulldogs, they're fantastic, man. A team that probably could kill it today, and maybe if they were today, maybe I'd vote for them instead, because we'd see a little bit more of them on a weekly basis. But the people that I've been seeing and falling in love with for the past decade plus is the New Day. Still interested when they pop up. Unfortunately, sometimes they're only given less than 2 minutes on Mania.
Yeah, WrestleMania. I should have ranted about that.
Well, this isn't that show. This isn't that show.
But hey, it goes into the voting factor. They get 2 minutes. But when they're given more than 2 minutes, they really shine. All three of them too. Whichever combo you want to go with, Biggie and Kofi and Woods, Xavier and Biggie, whatever combo you want to go with, they're fantastic. So I got to go New Day.
All right,
yeah,
Jacob.
I'm on board with the New Day. The British Bulldogs are fantastic. Like Jordan said, really good. But the New Day, they're going on 8-9 years. In an era where stables in WWE do not last that long, but they've managed to keep themselves over. 2 out of the 3 have been, world champions, and 1 has been King of the Ring. So they've remained on top for this long, and we're always asking, oh, is this going to be where they break up? Is this where they're gonna break up? But they're so over with the fans still. That I don't know if we do see them break up, so I'm gonna go with the New Day.
It's a shame the British Bulldogs, I feel like, were kind of it was the wrong time period and the wrong company. Like if they were around, like if they were in the NWA, like during like the Crockett kind of years, like having matches with Midnight Express and Rock and Roll, some of those guys, like they could have really killed it and gone a little. They were in the wrong company, wrong time, sometimes wrong continent. Because when they went over to Japan, they had really great matches for a little while. But yeah, this one they're gonna have a tough match here because the New Day has been rocking it for a long time, and like everybody else said, a gimmick that really shouldn't work that works, and a couple of great workers. So I'll go with the New Day. Steve?
The fact that I have Xavier Woods facing me in a WWE ring at WrestleMania Access, right before Up, Down, Down was created. It's who I'm going for. Of course, I'm going for the British Bulldog. No, no, man, New Day. We're talking the same talk about the Usos, top 5 tag teams currently speaking, maybe of all time. They've have moved on from where they were originally going to be as baby-faced preachers to tweeners from heels, tweeners, and everything in between. Yeah, and it's a shame that the worst part of WrestleMania was them getting squashed by Ridge Holland and Sheamus and Butch. And they left a longing legacy. I mean, they freaking made freaking unicorn horns that if you think about it, a little dirtier than what it is originally. You know what I mean? But yeah, man, New Day.
All right, it's clean sweep for the New Day. They could be Heavy favorites as well. We'll see what happens.
Heavy
Oh,
favorites.
there they are. We got FTR, the Revival.
Wow.
Oh, against Harlem Heat. Oh, this
my
could be
God.
interesting.
Oh
Harlem
my
Heat
God.
versus FTR, and this would be another pretty good match. Harlem Heat in their prime against FTR would be fun. Jordan Owens, you get the first crack at this one.
Oh man, I feel like again recency bias maybe because I do remember loving Harlem Heat again. Really enjoyed getting their big dog like toys from WCW that one was like LJN's. And some really good matches with the Road Warriors singing Luger, even the Nasty Boys. But FTR man, just what they built these last few years, probably mostly to me in NXT and now in AEW. Again, maybe it's because I just saw them have a banger with the Briscoes and
Ring of
looking
Honor.
forward to them and the Bucks. The stuff they did with DIY, even like AOP in NXT, that they really brought the best out of them. I gotta go just that work rate, that new kind of style of wrestling where it's all out almost every time you see them. FTR.
All right, Jacob.
Yeah, when I think of Booker T, I think of his singles run. I think of his King Booker run. I don't really think of Harlem Heat. I understand that they're a pretty good tag team, but FTR is one of those teams where we talk about them now, and we talk about the dream matches that we want to see. It was always, oh yeah, the Revival against the Young Bucks. That's a match we want to see. And so, and then we get to see it, and now it's always just really good matches when they're on screen. At worst, just really good matches. I can't think of a bad match that they've been in. And if you can think of a bad match, don't tell me because I don't want to see it. So I'm going to go with FTR.
Man, in this one, I'm going to say much love to FTR, but goddamn, y'all need to put some respect on Harlem Heat's name. Harlem Heat carried the WCW tag team division for like 6 years, 10-time tag team champions in WCW. I was a huge mark for those guys back in WCW. Again, kind of a perfect formula. Stevie Ray, not the greatest worker, but perfect in his role when he worked with Booker, did the powerhouse, hot tag, cleaning house kind of stuff, and Booker T carrying the work rate. Always great. I'm a big fan of Harlem Heat, so I got to give it to Harlem Heat on this one. Steve?
God. I really liked Harlem Heat, and I really like FTR. I really liked Harlem Heat, especially with Sister Sherry in their corner. I mean, come on, guys, can we forget about that promo, man? Come on,
I'm not going to read it. Are you
kidding me? You know what? I was
Hulk Hogan.
And guess what? I'm gonna go another way. And I'm gonna back you up, Pez. I'm gonna back you up, and I'm gonna vote for Harlem Heat. I'm gonna vote for Harlem Heat because I got it, and I'm gonna lay the gauntlet down on Richie because it's all on him, and I want to push that pressure on my favorite Australian.
All right, Richie. Well, he did do it. So FTR and Harlem Heat. It's all on you.
All right. I'll say it's full credit to Booker T that Harlem Heat got over. I mean, obviously they had good chemistry, they're brothers. But yeah, Stevie Ray was not a good worker at all. But as a tag team, they just work. And also, we're talking about theme songs. One of the best, catchiest theme songs of all time. But FTR, man, I think I actually think they are the best tag team working. That they literally they're the best tag. I love everything about them. I love their finishing move. The finishing move, the big rig form of the Shadow Machine is just such a cool finishing move. And then they just get it. They're just a throwback to old school. Oh man. I'm gonna go FTR, but much love Harlem.
Oh, and Harlem Heat. Still not getting all love here.
Sorry, Hulk Hogan, they're no longer coming for you.
All right, FTR rolling through. All right, we got LAX.
We got Nikolai Volkov, right?
Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. Oh no!
What,
Oh yeah, those are definitely Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik.
He was doing pretty darn good.
All right, Jordan, you're doing so good. Sorry, that is not Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik. That
Are
is
you
our
sure?
Outlaws. But anyways, we'll go in representation against LAX. Really either incarnation, but I specifically in the when this one went to the early run of Homicide and Hernandez in TNA. So, but I know there's been LAX 2.0 things like that. So we'll go with Jacob on this one.
I will go with the tag team that is correctly pictured here, and go with LAX because I've seen them and I have watched them. And I have enjoyed their matches, and I cannot say the same about Nikolai Volkov and the Iron Sheik.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering in Jordan's mind, which one's Nikolai, which one's Iron Sheik? Like, he's thinking like,
Yeah,
hey,
right.
Volkov was fucking Iron Sheik.
Do you think he got
Nikolai?
Nikolai Gunn and the Iron Dog?
Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I'm gonna go the same way. I probably wouldn't have voted for Volkov and Iron Sheik. Anyways, although I appreciate the heat that they got back in the day, you know, singing the national anthem and stuff too. That was fun. But I actually really like Homicide and Hernandez as a tag team. I thought they were a lot of fun, and they had some really great matches. And yeah, Hernandez again, not the absolute strongest worker, but perfect in his role. And Homicide was a great worker on his own, and he worked great in the tag team. So LAX for me. Steve?
I'm gonna go with. So I am familiar with both teams, but not strong on both of them. But I'm gonna go for LAX. Besides the fact that they're representing Hispanics, as a fellow Hispanic myself, but also that the later on the representation of LAX in 2017 will feature another person from down in South Florida, Diamante, in their stable.
Yeah.
Santana, Ortiz, and the King, Mad King himself, Eddie Kingston, and we all got that feud there. And I know we're focusing on Homicide or Hernandez, but the 2017 LAX is the only one I can relate to. So fair with me here. But yeah, I'm going with LAX.
Well, I believe Santana and Ortiz are in this tournament, so you'll have a chance to vote for them at some point on the side of the bracket. So there you go. But Richie.
Yeah, when I think LAX was like one of the best tag teams in TNA in that sort of mid 2000s era. They had like phenomenal matches with like Machine Guns, Percy later, Beer Money, America's Most Wanted. They're fantastic. I remember. I feel like the thing I don't remember that as much funny when they were when Shelly Martinez was part of the group. I think that's the chick there. But when Conan was part, Conan really made that. Like he would fight TNA tooth and nail to cut the promo he wanted to cut, and he was fantastic. He's one of the best, most underrated talkers of all time, and I think it helped them. But they're fantastic on their own. I like what Hernandez could do as a big guy. And then they complemented each other really well with Homicide doing more of the athletic stuff. So LAX for sure.
All right, and Jordan Owens.
Oh, you don't know that I do have break your back. I make you humble. Iron Sheik and like Volkov, good heat back in the day. The very kind of typical, but it worked well for them. But yeah, I mean, my heart definitely goes to LAX. Hernandez is always one of those guys that, kind of like you said, has his moments as a singles guy, but I thought it fits really well here in a tag team with Homicide, who can kind of, a little bit of lighter. And another guy that I was so glad that both these guys were able to have a big TV presence for a while, finding something online. Shout out to Diamante, and also shout out to Salinas in the photo. I've always had a little bit of a crush on her, even when she was a vampire. So yeah, I'm gonna go with LAX.
All right, well, it's a sweep for LAX. That's all right. Well, they're not moving on anyway. So the ones with the typos have not moved on anyway. So the luck of the draw. We'd be in trouble if it was the Young Bucks with the wrong picture. That would be in trouble. But anyways, all right, we got the original Assassins, Joey Hamilton and Tom Renesto versus the Motor City Machine Guns, Alex Shelley and Chris Sabin. All right, so I think I'm up first on this one. Yeah, I'm gonna give. I'm not gonna vote for them per se, but I want to show some love to the Assassins. They kind of dominated, like Midwest wrestling for a really really long time. Kind of low key, just winning everywhere they went. And they're a fun kind of mass tag team to watch. But yeah, the Motor City Machine Guns have been great ever since they started in early TNA, and they're still doing it. To this day, having great matches everywhere. Kind of like FTR, just great matches, everybody, great workers. I'll give it to the Guns on this one. Steve.
Listen, I'm going to throw some respect, like you said, Pez, to the Assassins. I mean, we're going to talk about Championship Wrestling from Florida. They were definitely a mainstay. They were 2-time NWA United States Tag Team Champions. But I got to go for the Motor City Machine Guns.
All right. Richie.
Yeah, I haven't seen much of the Assassins, but I might go and check out all their stuff after this. But the Motor City Machine Guns, like they're one of the best tag teams in Impact history. One of my all-time favorite tag teams as well. It's just amazing how many good tag teams came out of that era in TNA. And I reckon if TNA was bigger at that point, that they would be even bigger stars. But just great chemistry, and they got very similar styles, and still working today. And then they haven't skipped a beat. They're fantastic. So I'm going to go Motor City Machine Guns.
All right, and Jordan.
As everyone else has said, the obligatory respect to the Assassins. But boy, do I gotta go with Motor City Machine Guns here, man. Two great X Division guys put together, making one hell of a tag team. Here we are, X amount of years later, and we're still clamoring for reunion there, reunion here. A couple years back, having great matches with the North, and still popping in, man. So I gotta go with Motor City Machine Guns. That they really were a team to watch.
Okay.
Yeah.
And
yeah. The Motor City Machine Guns are my favorite tag team to come out of TNA, like hands down. It's not even close. I love these two. Separately they're great wrestlers. Together, I think they're even better. Their tag team moves are just so crisp and clean. Their double team moves are fantastic. It's a shame they've only won the TNA tag team titles, I think, like twice. It's a shame because I think they're like easily the best tag team in TNA history. But that just might be my personal bias. I know there's great tag teams in TNA. I mean, the Dudleys were there. I know. But I could go on and on about the Machine Guns. Before we started even putting the list together, like I was like, there's one team that I want on there, and that was the Machine Guns. It was like, if we were making a tag team draft, they would be my number one pick. That's how much I love these guys. So it will be a clean sweep for the Machine Guns.
All right, sweep for the Guns. And moving on down to our next match, got the Bushwhackers. All right. Oh no, against Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. So this one may be another lopsided one, but yeah, a little nostalgia versus a little recency with this one. Steve Mesa, what do you got?
I mean, who did I take a picture with? Did I take a picture with the Bushwhackers, or did I take a picture with what's probably the top 10 tag teams of all time, Red Dragon? No, I took a picture with the Bushwhackers as well. But the most recent one, it was Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Red Dragon came into the scene, started kicking ass in Ring of Honor, and still continued to kick ass to WWE and NXT as part of Undisputed Era, and still kicking ass back as Red Dragon with Adam Cole. Baby. Man, Red Dragon. Let's go. All right, former IWGP Junior Tag Team Champions as well.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, Bushwhackers are entertaining. It's just known as comedy guys. It's a shame that when WWE picked them up that they weren't, because they in the Indies and in New Zealand they were the sheep herders, and
the sheep herders were awesome on NWA TV.
They're great, and they were fantastic. They're ass kickers.
Portland too.
But then they came to WWE, and they, as Vince's want sometimes, just turned into comedy guys. And they did the best with their role. It's entertaining. I don't know if you could. I don't know if their kind of their thing of licking people's faces will go down well in the age of COVID these days. But they're entertaining in their own right. But Red Dragon, fantastic. Just great tag team. Great tag team Ring of Honor, great tag team when they're part of Undisputed Era at NXT. I think they'll be the next tag team champions. I'm putting that out there. They're going to beat Jurassic. They're going to beat Jurassic Express, if that's still called that. They're going to beat Jurassic Express. They're great wrestlers in their own right. But yeah, this is pretty easy. I'm going to say Red Dragon.
Okay. Jordan.
Look up Sheep Herders if you want to see a different side of the Bushwhackers that some fans might not even know exist. But yeah, I gotta go with Bobby Fish, Kyle O'Reilly. Two guys that found each other in Ring of Honor, took it to NXT, took it to Japan, currently in AEW. Absolutely some great bangers. I feel like we haven't even touched the surface too in AEW what we can see from these two in the future. So Fish and O'Reilly, Red Dragon.
Okay, and Jacob.
Yeah, I think it says a lot about Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly that we're talking this highly of them, and I think they still have so much left to offer. And yeah, I know I agree with Richie. I think they will be the next AEW tag team champions. And I haven't seen a lot of the Bushwhackers. I love Fish and O'Reilly. I think they had a great NXT run. I think they could have an even better AEW run. So I will go with Fish and O'Reilly.
Yeah, I'll make it a clean sweep. I am a fan of the old Sheep Herders. I was watching NWA TV for a little while, and they're a lot of fun on there. But yeah, Fish and O'Reilly have been killing it for a long time now, and I still cannot believe Bobby Fish is 45 years old. Like he looks, and works like a 30-year-old. So I mean, it's crazy. He's hanging in there and still doing great. So I'll make it a sweep for Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly.
Yes.
All right, moving on down.
Oh
boy, we got recent Hall of Fame inductees this time. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! All right.
The tag team we
listening.
forgot.
Yeah. So for anybody just listening, in the first round, we've got two maybe heavy favorites overall. We've got the Steiners, recently inducted in the Hall of Fame, versus Edge and Christian, and this could easily be a championship match. If I do say so myself. Wow. Richie, unfortunately, you have to go first. Steiners, Edge and Christian. I think we can all agree this is probably the hardest one so far, and we'll see what happens.
This is a big
wow.
Hate the randomizer sometimes. Okay, I'll think out loud. Edge and Christian, fantastic, just a fantastic tag team. They obviously they grew up together, and then they just had great chemistry, and you can tell they're just endlessly entertaining. When when they started kind of turning into more the goofball persona that they really that well. The 5-second pose, it's fantastic. They were really entertaining and just great workers. They're instrumental in the TLC and the Triangle Ladder match. They're definitely, when you think of Attitude Era and you think of tag teams, these are the people, these two that come to mind straight away because they're fantastic and great wrestlers in their own right. The Steiner brothers are so good at tactic. You just want to. You just you wouldn't there's just a tactic that it would kick your you wouldn't want to mess with them, they kick your ass, but also especially on Scott Steiner's part, extremely athletic. The stuff he could do for a guy's size was just it was amazing. Look, I'm gonna go Edge and Christian.
Wow.
But if the other way.
All right. Edge and Christian. Jordan.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. Definitely, that's another tournament where either team, the losing team, could have gone on way longer in a different setup. Steiner's, man, Hall of Famers for a reason. They talk about workhorses that would, I think, work very well today, man, if they were going here. You know what I mean? You still kind of see like a Creed Brothers kind of in like a new form of them, but not as good yet. Steiner's absolutely had some great bangers in Japan in early WCW, WWF, even ECW for a hot second. But again, I said kind of before those three TLC teams from the 2000. I have a hard time rooting against, man. I love Edge and Christian here. These two fighting themselves from the Brood to their very entertaining characters, to them hugging it out at the Rumble. Only bad part is we never got to see them tag once more. You know what I mean? And we may never get that, most likely. So I'm gonna go with Edge and Christian, just by a hair.
All right, Jacob.
Yeah, I think the Steiners are really good, but I have to go with the tag team that I just saw more of because they were around when I was watching more regularly, and that's Edge and Christian. Not only that, they have a show of awesomeness, and it's really awesome. So, Edge and Christian's show of whatever it's called, it's got like a super long title on the WWE Network. It was a lot of fun. That's what puts them over the top. They have a show of awesomeness, and the Steiners don't.
Okay, the Steiners don't have a show of awesomeness, but every one of their goddamn matches was awesome, and I love the Steiners. Like, dude, you go back and watch it feels like a modern tag team, dude. They're suplexing dudes all over the place. They're punching guys in the face. They're freaking Scott Steiner, massive Scott Steiner's doing jumping Hurricanranas and Frankensteiners all over the place.
Whoa.
Like they innovated everything.
He's gonna get mad, Frankenstein.
Hey, listen, yeah, I know but they stole it from him. Fuck that. So yeah, no, I mean clotheslining people everywhere. I have a Best of Steiners in Japan DVD. It's one of my favorite compilations. It's awesome, dude. I got to go with the Steiners on this one. Edge and Christian are great, but out of the trio, the Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge and Christian, the Edge and Christian were my least favorite. So I'm going with the Steiners. Steve?
Guys, did Edge and Christian become the first tag team to hold the WWF, WCW, and IGP Tag Team Championship? Let me quote.
That's not possible.
Let me quote.
Like
Kevin.
that's their fault.
Yeah.
Let me quote.
Ed was like 10 when the first time they won titles.
Yeah, no. Steiners. I have that same DVD that you have, and that was mind blowing watching.
Well, you guys need to start sharing your DVDs.
Or tape traders.
Maybe
old school tape trading.
How about that, Jordan?
Did the Steiners win the tag team titles in the best tag team match at the best WrestleMania?
No. Well, I did fight.
They did. In my heart. And in other areas of my body as well. Steiners.
Man, this is heartbreaking. But Edge and Christian, Steiners, recent Hall of Fame just a few days ago, are eliminated in the first round. That is unfortunate.
Oh my God!
Oh no! Oh no! Here's another showdown. We got the Rockers, Marty Jannetty, and Shawn Michaels against the Road Warriors, the Legion of Doom, whatever you want to call them, Hawk and Animal. Jordan Owens.
Yeah. This sucks for me, man, because if you know me, you know my number one guy is Shawn Michaels. I think he is the GOAT. Not like the GOAT as in now wherever there's 12 people that claim they're the GOAT. I truly think he is the GOAT. But if we're talking best tag teams here, I think I got to sway towards Road Warriors. While the Rockers were innovative, and I think there's teams that were able to go on from them because of them. They unfortunately were kind of the B team for the most part of them being there. The kind of Mania opener or second, third match. When they won the tag titles, unfortunately, the ring mishap happened. So it's not even really an official count in most record books. Road Warriors have that longevity, man, from the NWA to WCW to the WWF, to back to WCW, a splash in TNA. Even when they did that one-off with Kane and Rob Van Dam, like that crowd went crazy for them. And another team that's had some really great stuff over in Japan as well. Their look is iconic and whatnot. So I just think as far as the team goes, as much as I love me some HBK, Marty Jannetty's fucking psycho, and I think he killed somebody. So Road Warriors.
Yeah. That's right.
All right, Jacob.
Yeah. I think Jordan said it perfectly. I think nothing else needs to be said. Shawn Michaels, after the Rockers has become one of the best, top three for sure. But the Road Warriors as a tag team, like it's hard to top them. I think we're looking at another heavy favorite here. I'm gonna go with the Road Warriors.
Yeah, I'm also going to put some respect to the Rockers. Very innovative, really great. We talked about them, against Tully and Arn. I highly recommend that kind of stuff. You want to see a very modern style tag team match. It's a lot of fun. But the Road Warriors, I mean, that picture right there, they're iconic with the spike, shoulder pads and everything, and the face paint. That you could easily have them in the conversation for maybe the best smash mouth like powerhouse tag team of all time. Like you could have them in that conversation because they would go down there and just beat the shit out of people, and crowd go crazy. Play, Ozzy Osbourne's Iron Man as they come out. Great stuff back in the day. So I'm gonna go with the Road Warriors. Steve,
Guys, you mentioned Japan. Guys, you know what I have to vote for. You mentioned I have to vote for the Road Warriors. Not also the fact that the pop that someone gets is named after them. The Road Warrior pop. The fact that there's a pop named after these people. Also, they beat Tsuruta and Tenryu. Tsuruta and Tenryu, two of the most badass men to come out of Japan wrestling. And if you take titles off of them, there's no stopping this tag team. Whether it was NWA, WWF, WWE, whatever, New Japan, if one half of them just left, it doesn't matter. Road Warriors, Road Warriors, Road Warriors.
Oh, I don't like being yelled at this much.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, I think it speaks to how good the Rockers were. Like that people still talk about the tag team as one of the best today, considering like they didn't have like a lot of longevity. Obviously, and Michaels is one of the best of all time. Jannetty could be up there too, but he let his and demons get in the way. But as a tag team, the Road Warriors are definitely getting my vote. I think they're fantastic. Just one of the most iconic looks of tag team. Just one of the most coolest finishing moves.
Doomsday device. Come on, the Briscoes are using. Everybody uses the Doomsday device. Come on, how many people ripped off the Doomsday device? What a great
the
move.
Doomsday device is a fantastic move, and I also like the fact that if you go back, especially go back watch the run in WCW, like Orc never sold. It was pretty funny. He'd get right back. He'd get right back up. But it was funny. But R.I.P. the Road Warriors. But you're going through.
All right, Road Warriors with a clean sweep over the Rockers. A little surprising, but they could be a heavy favorite. Got the American Wolves. Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards versus DIY. Wow, this is a dream match. Have these guys ever had a match together? Maybe in PWG or something?
No,
maybe.
No, I don't think those timelines don't mix.
They never had a match.
Oh wow, that would be a hell of a match. A hell of a match. DIY and American Wolves. So kind of battle of the indies here. So Jacob Barber, what do you got?
Yeah, I was a huge fan of NXT, especially at the time DIY was kind of dominating the tag team scene there. Just having stellar matches with the Revival, AOP, even against each other. Like I know that's not what we're talking about, but like they just work so well together as a team or as opponents. And I was kind of the one that asked for them to be in, and I'd feel bad if I voted against them. So I'm gonna go with DIY. I would love to see them have a reunion on the main roster and just have a run, but I don't know if we're gonna get that. But they will get my vote here.
I'm gonna go with this may be a little bit of my Ring of Honor bias, but yeah, I was watching when the Wolves really started tagging together and really dominating that division, having awesome matches. Everybody, I've always been a big fan of David Richards, and yeah, I haven't seen a whole lot of DIY. That was kind of before I really started watching NXT, so I'm gonna go with the one I've seen more of, and this one that's the Wolves. Steve,
I am going. Listen, I do like the American Wolves work, but the team that I really follow the most and that I'm voting for is going to be DIY. I mean, these were two men that were literally, we were talking about earlier how two men get put together in a random ass tag team. This is one of the examples. They were put together as random tag teams, and they actually started functioning as a tag team. And from there is when they actually started becoming a great tag team. So I'm going to go for DIY.
Okay. Richie?
Yeah, much like American Wolves, they were one of the best tag teams in Ring of Honor. They also had a good run in Impact for a while, but I have to go DIY here. I think they're a fantastic tag team, one of the more iconic tag teams of NXT, and then just great chemistry, and that can be shown through the matches with each other as well. Some of the best matches NXT has ever had. And like they're phenomenal. But much love to American Wolves, but I'm voting DIY.
Okay. And Jordan?
This is a tough one, guys. I think I've flip-flopped twice as we've gone to this point. As you guys were talking, like, I'm gonna go with them. Nah, I'm gonna go with them because of this. Maybe them because I think they're both great. DIY. Really great organic story here of them. First round of the Cruiserweight Classic to them teaming up to the breakup to even the reunion. But if I just go with like my heart and as far as the matches, much as I love DIY, Wolves had one hell of a run. Like, watch that Ring of Honor run, even into TNA. They even got that one random NXT match with the Ascension because, they were being looked at by both major companies. And so, yeah, I got to go with the Wolves personally, just by a little bit.
All right. Well, that's a close one, but DIY is going to take that one by one vote. So
Fun fact, my favorite Johnny Gargano-Tommaso Ciampa match wasn't even in their feud. It was their first round match in the Cruiserweight Classic. I think that one is underrated and doesn't get talked about enough.
I was there.
Hey.
I saw it on the network.
There's the Public Enemy, Rocco Rock. Versus the Midnight Express, Dennis Gondry and Bobby Eaton. A classic. No Jim Cornette in that picture, but obviously managed by the great Jim Cornette. Why couldn't the Steiners be up against Public Enemy? That'd be way, way easier. And they could at least make it to the second round. That's a damn shame. Or Edge and Chris or whatever, just to get them out of there. Yeah. All right, but I'll go first on this one. This one's easy. One of my favorites in this tournament, and one of my favorites of all time, is the Midnight Express. I just think they have phenomenal chemistry. For my money, one of the great workhorse tag teams ever. Great double teams, great chemistry, and obviously one of the great managers of all time. Just, you can sit there and watch a Midnight Express match and just watch Cornette on the outside, and you will be entertained for the full 15 or 20 minutes just watching him be the greatest cheerleader manager ever. I was never a big fan of Public Enemy. I'm glad APA beat the shit out of him. So Midnight Express.
All right, so I'm more familiar with Public Enemy than I am more familiar with the Midnight Express, but the fact that you have Bobby Eaton on your team, and later on to have Stan Lane team up with Bobby Eaton. I mean, those were if people need to look up more Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. I'm about to mix a Stan Eaton and Bobby Lane here. No, I think those two individuals, not only as a tag team but separately, need to be more looked up by current wrestlers training in school, because I think their work goes under the radar, and the fact that they teamed up, and you also have Dennis Condrey, and then for a little bit Randy Rose, I believe, was in there. But man, despite me knowing more Public Enemy about Midnight Express, I recognize history, I recognize greatness, and I'm going for Midnight Express here.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, it's a credit to Paul Heyman that he got Public Enemy so over. They're one of the most over tag teams in ECW, and it's credit to him because as you would have seen in the WCW run and ECW, but they're Public Enemy individuals. They're not good wrestlers. They're not good workers at all. They're entertaining. That's fine, but this was pretty easy. The Midnight Express is one of the best tag teams ever. This is quite a mismatch. I am thankful for this side of the bracket to finally giving us an easy one this time. It's been brutal, but yeah, so Midnight Express.
All right, and Jordan.
Yeah, Public Enemy's heyday in ECW was a little bit before I caught on to that bug in retrospect. And their WWF WCW stuff is it all blends in together. It's really not that good. So yeah, I don't really have much love for Public Enemy. Midnight Express, yeah, check out their stuff if you haven't. Bobby Eaton, very underrated, but I think maybe now getting rated. I think a lot of people are probably talking about his run. And say what you will about Cornette, great manager for the Midnight Express. So yeah, gotta agree. Probably decent mile Midnight Express here for me.
Okay. And Jacob?
Now I'll just keep it short and sweet and just move the Midnight Express on over.
All right, sounds good. And Midnight Express moving on. As we got Team Hell No versus the Brothers of Destruction. How about that? Well, Kane versus Kane. So interesting.
Oh,
but yeah,
sorry.
Just for anybody listening, sorry, just real quick. Team Hell No, Daniel Bryan and Kane versus Kane and the Undertaker, the Brothers of Destruction. So yeah, go ahead, Jacob. Sorry.
Yeah, no, sorry guys. Due to time constraints, this match has to be cut.
All right. All right. Well, this should be interesting. Steve Mesa, what do you think?
So they both have tag teams with Kane in it. So I'm going to go with Team Hell No. I mean, yeah, I'll just move on. I'm not really sure how to explain it. It's just, I guess maybe I'm not too big of a fan of the Undertaker. It's a little bit. I know it's a little bit sacrilege. I mean, I understand his appeal and his aura, but I was not a big fan of his politics. So I mean that also bleeds into it too a little bit. So
Are you a fan of Kane's politics?
I mean,
the mayor of Knoxville, the mayor of Knox.
No, listen, dude.
To be fair, they both have Kane in them, so that's not really.
Both have Kane in it.
Yeah.
If I'm gonna go for Kane,
I get.
I'm gonna go for the guy with the most lenient politics. That's not Kane, and that's Daniel Bryan. So I'm gonna go with No.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, this is weird mentioned, but yeah, like Brothers of Destruction, obviously they were a made tag team because they were both huge stars before they got started tagging together. But yeah, so it was just obvious you pair them together, and obviously they're really fun, especially their 2001 run when they were feuding with I guess Austin and Triple H at Power Trip. I think they were that's where they were at the height of their run. But entertainment wise, Team Hell No is another tag team put together. Shouldn't have worked. Just two people they wouldn't do anything with. But yeah, they made their segment so entertaining. It showed off Kane's comedic side, and yeah, it's fantastic. They made not like kind of being at odds work, and yeah, and I think they're phenomenal. So I'm gonna say Team Hell No.
Okay, JPO.
Alrighty. Yeah, I gotta go. Just who am I more entertained by? Who am I paying to see a ticket to? And that's Team Hell No. I love the backstage skits with Harold. Whatever happened to Harold? And all the fun stuff there. Even some of their matches, man. I thought they actually another random pairing that just worked really fun and well for a little while there. And am I biased because I was on Monday Night Raw doing the yes and the no with Daniel Bryan while Kane watched? Maybe, I don't know. But Team Hell No.
Also featuring Scorpio Sky on those segments.
That's who Harold was. That was the
joke. That was Harold. That was Harold. My bad. Okay, let's move on.
Jacob.
Yeah, I gotta go with who I'm just more entertained by, and that's Team Hell No. I think they were really entertaining together, and they had a lot of fun. I think my favorite moment is when Kane dumped the water or Gatorade or whatever it was on Daniel Bryan after winning the championships and just like yelling, "I'm going to Disneyland," and just like running off. I think it was just so great. The anger management segments were fun. The reunion that they had, I was hoping would last a little bit longer than it did, but whatever. It was cool to see them back for the short time that they were back. So I'm gonna go Team Hell No.
All right. And I would have shown some love for the Brothers of Destruction. Going back and watching some of the Attitude Raws, dude, when Kane's music would start and they'd hit the explosion and then dump right into Limp Bizkit's Rollin', like that crowd went bonkers. Like if you want to hear a pop, like pops you don't hear anymore, go back and watch some of that stuff. It's a lot of fun. And I thought they had good chemistry as a tag team. So I didn't watch a lot of Team Hell No's run. That was kind of after I kind of broke off with WWE for a little while. So I didn't see a lot of the run. So I'll go Attitude Era on this one. But my vote does not matter. Team Hell No is moving on.
Now I know we got
Hey,
some of
your
it,
vote
right?
always matters, Austin.
Hey.
I am. It is right here.
All right.
People in the house, put your hands in the air, because if you don't care.
Oh, we got America's Most Wanted from TNA versus Kevin Steen and El Generico. Okay, that would have been a great match, and they're both their primes too as well. But yeah, America's Most Wanted, James Storm and Chris Harris versus Kevin Steen and El Generico. Richie, you're up first.
Yeah. America's Most Wanted were probably one of the more prolific tag teams in TNA's early run. Like they had a lot of range of tag titles. They had great chemistry. I like them. But I'm gonna have to go. It's just a shame that like Chris Harris completely fell off the map. Right, I think he,
You leave Braden Walker alone.
Gained a lot of weight, then decided I'm going to get a WWE, and it was like he was in ECW as Braden Walker, and it was just I didn't realize it was Chris Harris at first. He had completely changed his look, and I'm like, man, this is sad. But he's a good worker. They're both really good workers. But I'm going to go Kevin Steen and El Generico. I think they're fantastic. Generally it's a cool story that they're generally best friends and that have fantastic matches. So. And still crushing it. I have a feeling that Sami Zayn's decision to stay at WWE probably had a lot to do with Kevin Owens' decision to stay at WWE. So I think.
I don't know who you're talking about. I'm talking about El Generico right now.
Yeah, what does Sami Zayn have
Who are
to
you
do
talking
with
about? What does that have to do with it? Sami Zayn and Kevin Owens? I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, it's pretty
people.
messed up, Richie, because Generico died in that fire in Tijuana. Saving orphanages.
He did.
Like,
Okay,
yeah.
look, I'm losing you, but I'm going to vote for them. There you go. Kevin Steen.
I'm talking about Mr. Wrestling Kevin Steen and the generic luchador El Generico. That's what I'm talking about. Jordan Owens.
This is another interesting one because it reminds me of the Kings of Wrestling and Beer Money fight from before. This is Ring of Honor versus TNA.
Cousin, bro.
Yeah.
What?
Don't vote against your cousin.
No, of course not. This is it's one of the best from TNA. America's Most Wanted. Found each other pretty early on. I think those are NWA tag titles that they're holding right there. And they ended up feuding a little bit later too. Just like Cena Generico would end up feuding in a great feud that literally would last like a solid year or two. Nice slow storytelling there. But we're talking about the tag teams. I think I gotta go with one, like Steve said, my cousin Kev. This is before he used the family name of Owens, and he said he wanted to go with Steen because he didn't want to piggyback on the name of Owens that I was already creating. So he went with Steen for the moment, and Generico, just some bangers, man. Again, check out stuff with them in the Briscoes, and a really nice rise too of two guys that from Canada who were basically on like the Ring of Honor pre-show do or die to getting all the way to the main event tag team scene, and even later on like the world title scene. So, Steven Generico will get my vote.
Okay. Jacob.
I'm going to vote for Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn here.
Whoa.
They're not up for contention, so you have to vote for one of the ones that we're talking about.
Yeah, they're not there, dude. What are you talking about?
Oh, okay. In that case, I'll go with Kevin Steen and Sami Zayn.
What are you talking about?
I still don't know who you're talking about. I see Kevin Steen, but
Okay,
I don't see Sami's.
In that case, I'll go with the America's Most Wanted.
Okay, sounds good. All right. All right. I'll give mine to Steen Generico. Yeah, I'm a big fan of them. I've got one of their PWG best of DVDs. Like, there's really good stuff. I've been following them for a long time. They have great matches both with each other and against each other. Yeah, really good stuff. Yeah, I was never the biggest America's Most Wanted fan, even though they were kind of considered one of the better TNA tag teams. I thought they were all right, but Steen Generico was a little more exciting to me. So I'll go Steen Generico. Steve?
If you want to watch like a hilarious bad match, I don't know what year it's from, but there's a lockdown match, a cage match where they got two good workers, Chris Harris and James Storm, and they put blindfolds on them. And
the blindfold match, yeah. Oh my god, horrendous.
So bad. I think it's from 2006.
Yeah.
It is
something
so bad.
Like that,
All right, so I'm gonna just say something. Everybody's time to just say Steen and El Generico. Everybody said what they wanted to say about Steen and Generico. I'm just following up on them. They're just saving some time. So Steen and El Generico.
All right, fair enough. Okay, scroll on down, see what our next match is. We've got the original Briscoe brothers, Jack and Jerry, against the Hardy Boys, which we hadn't seen yet. So Team Extreme against the original old school Briscoes. So we will start with Jordan Owens on this one.
The Briscoe brothers, the epitome of this classic, great old school wrestling, great old school tag team wrestling as well. But as I said, my love for those three major teams, Hardys, Dudleys, and Edge of Christian, do not waver with the Hardys. Still to this day, I was there live for Jeff's return as he danced his way before saving his brother. But I was there for his return. Yeah. People absolutely loving it. Love to see the Hardys. They're fighting this weekend, Dynamite or Rampage, one of the two in a tables match, I want to say. So there's still love for the Hardys here. Yeah, and these are my second favorite Briscoes, huh? So gotta go with the Hardys.
Okay. All right, and Jacob.
Yeah, this is easily the Hardy Boys for me. I mean, it goes back to just, what I've been able to see. And the Hardy Boys have been around for much of my time as a wrestling fan. Always entertaining as a team, even against each other. Anyway, whatever that was. No, just two really good in-ring workers, high fly and great spots. I'm gonna go with the Hardy Boys. Or sorry, the Hardy Brothers.
The Hardy Brothers, yeah.
Or the Hardy Brothers.
Yeah, much love to and respect for the original OG Briscoes. Jack and Jerry, both great workers. But yeah, not the most exciting matches on the planet. I've gone and watched them. They were very much in an era of arm bars and chin locks, and not a whole lot. I know they dominated and they made their legacy. But the Hardy Boys have been killing it for damn near 25 years now, and they're still killing it, and still way over at the Dynamite I was at last week in the Carolinas. Very, very, very over, and still putting on great matches. So yeah, the Hardys, one of the best of all time. Steve?
Hardys, best of all time. I mean, they've basically like revolution. One of the people that have kind of revolutionized current tag team wrestling at this moment. They've even evolved to do different aspects of the Hardys. Whether it's Big Money Matt or Willow or Broken or Brother Nero. I mean, there's so many iterations of the Hardys. It's not even funny, but like for sure, Hardy. I'm gotta go for the Hardys here because they're still kicking asses. At how got at 40 something years old, and I just want to see what they got next up their sleeves in AEW. All
right, that's a clean sweep for the Hardys. And they will move on, Mr. Barber.
I didn't vote.
I'm sorry, Richie. My apologies. Sorry about that. I was assuming you were voting Hardys. My apologies.
Foregone conclusion, though. Much like the Briscoes, but the Hardy Boys are one of the best of all time. They're just a fantastic tag team, and then obviously the Matt and Jess relationship is really cool to watch, like on screen. Also, like as much as a great tag team they were, it's interesting that they never really had great matches together.
No, they were kind of sloppy.
Most of their matches are just very forgettable, which is interesting. But like Hardy Boys is definitely, I think going into that, I'm like, I wanted Hardy's, Edge, and Christian and Dudley's at least move forward one round. So I'm gonna go Hardy's for sure. So yeah.
All right. And I believe we have 2 more matches, four more teams. So we've got Los Guerreros versus Eminem. All right,
Yeah.
Eminem, Johnny Nitro, Joey Mercury versus Chavo and Eddie Guerrero. Was this match happen? Did it happen? I don't know. I can't remember.
In the same era.
Again, I don't feel that time frame. Well, maybe.
I think they might have just missed each other. Maybe by a sliver. Maybe by like 6 months. But yeah, it would have been a great match. That's for damn sure.
Jordan will tell us when it's his turn. He's probably looking it up right now.
I'm sure he is. He can fact check us, but we'll give him time to fact check us because Jacob Barber, you will be first on this one.
Yeah. Man, this one's actually tough. I'm gonna go with Los Guerreros, even though their name is misspelled. I think I like them better as a tag team. I'm more entertained by Eddie. I think, shout out to Joey Mercury for getting his face smashed. I mean, he took it like a champ, but, I was more of a fan of Johnny Nitro, John Morrison as a singles competitor than I was in the tag team. I like Eddie and Chavo both as singles and in a tag team, and I think just anytime they're on screen, they are highly entertaining. So I'm going with Los Guerreros.
From what I can tell, it looks like Eddie and Ray faced Eminem and Eddie and Batista faced Eminem, but not Los Guerreros versus Eminem. So almost. We almost had that tag by a sliver. But I think as much as I loved Eminem, I was actually a big fan of it. They were having really great matches with almost everybody over anybody they faced. But Eddie and Chavo had really good chemistry. It's one of the few times I've liked Chavo. I'm not a big Chavo Guerrero fan, but when he was tagging with Eddie, I think it kind of elevated him, gave him a little more charisma and a little more watchability. And Eddie's one of the best of all time, obviously. So I'll go with the Guerreros on this one. All right, Steve.
Shout out to Eminem, Joey Mercury smashing his nose on that ladder. Shout out to John Morrison, aka Johnny Drip, aka Johnny Mundo, aka Johnny Impact, aka Johnny whatever.
Whatever this week it is.
Also, shout out to Melina. Melina's still hot as ever. Them splits, man, I tell you what. But
she stole it from me.
Los Guerreros, Eddie and Chavo, family working together, and those vignettes though. Those vignettes when they post them when they were debuting are just fantastic comedy gold in my opinion. So I'm going with Los Guerreros with Chavo's acumen and Eddie's legendary, putting all his stuff in there. I've got to go with Los Guerreros because that's where we first hear you lie, you cheat, and you steal from those vignettes. Mm-hmm. And if we didn't, we could have gotten those vignettes without the teaming of Los Guerreros. So there you go.
All right, Richie.
In case you were wondering.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. I much like Eminem. I love their presentation. I like the red carpet thing, and obviously Melina's splits. And it's cool she could still do them. It's a shame that she didn't have much of a run in the Royal Rumble this year. Although that might have been a botch. I don't know. But Eminem are great tag team. And when Morrison he hadn't become the wrestler he'd become, but you could still see those flashes of brilliance there. And much love to Joey Mercury because he didn't really recover after the broken nose, but it's still a great tag team. I'll also go Los Guerreros. I think that there's the chemistry. I think that Los Guerreros tag team was instrumental in giving Eddie a new gimmick, the new gimmick which got him over huge, the lion chicken stealer thing. So I'm going to Los Guerreros, but much love to Eminem.
Okay, and JPO.
Like Richie set up, man. I mean, that presentation is still kind of memorable. Rolling out that red carpet, the splits, as Steve said, stealing Pez's thing. Oh, look, I have Joey Mercury's phone number. Los Guerreros,
There you
even though
go.
the run wasn't all that long, it was entertaining while it lasted, and it was that era of really good work rate with other teams, like Haas and Benjamin and whatnot that I was talking about before. So even though it wasn't that long, it was super entertaining, and that's why it's on this list. And I'm going to give it a vote. I'm going to go with Guerreros.
Okay. And Guerreros will take this one in a clean sweep, Jay. And I believe we have one last match, and by my count, it's going to be the Santana Ortiz and I think the Wild Samoans. Yeah, okay, yeah, that's what I got.
And
All right, so Santana. So a nice multicultural matchup here with the Samoans, Latinos. So Santana Ortiz, Wild Samoans, and I'm up first. Yeah, this is an interesting one. I just got familiar with Santana and Ortiz through the recent AEW stuff. I didn't really follow them in TNA. I wasn't really watching around that time. I'm going to go a little old school in this one. I think Alpha and Sika really made a fun tag team to watch and had some good matches back in the day. So I'm going to go with the Samoans on this one. Steve?
I'm going from the previous argument that we had from the previous iteration of LAX. I'm transplanting that conversation to this conversation, and I'm going with Santana Ortiz. I mean, they haven't got a fantastic run as I thought that they were going to get when they first got there. That was they joined the inner circle, and I don't think they really had that. The only thing that really came out of it was that feud with Chuck and Trent, and that fantastic street fight match, parking lot brawl match. It's probably one of the best AEW Dynamite main events of all time. But yeah, I'm going to go with Santana and Ortiz here.
Okay, fair enough. Richie?
yeah, much like the Wild Samoans, I think they're a great tag team. But yeah, like I guess it could be everything. But Santana Ortiz are fantastic. As in LAX, and then now in AEW. Like Steve, I would have thought maybe they would have won the tag team titles by now, but I hope maybe we should. I'll be more patient. But yeah, it's cool that he's like now teaming back up with Eddie Kingston. They're teaming back up with Eddie Kingston to do the sort of LAX thing. That's pretty cool. So I'm going to go with Santan, like it says there, and Ortiz.
That's all right. We got the idea. JPO.
Shout out to Wild Samoans helping set the groundwork for future teams and generations to come. I got a lot of love though for Santana and Ortiz. I've been a fan of theirs, even on the indies and places like Beyond Wrestling, when they were EYFBO, entertaining your fucking balls off. I wonder why they changed from that name. I don't know why. I love it. But they've really grown as competitors here. I think I'm glad to see that they're sticking around because I do think we haven't seen the best from them yet. They were really doing some great stuff in Impact, and there's a reason why they were like one of the first big teams to debut on Dynamite originally back in the day. I think on the first episode or whatnot. So I'm gonna go with Santana and Ortiz personally.
Okay, and Jacob.
Yeah, I hate that I'm voting against old school so much, but I'm just
if you're an old school fan, you hate this episode.
I guess I'm not an old school fan. It's not something that I watch regularly as I am watching, today's product. So unfortunately, the Wild Samoans heard great things. Sure, when I do watch your matches, I will be entertained by them. But I've got to go with the team I know more about, and that's Santana and Ortiz.
Well, at least give the Wild Samoans a plug for their Mineola, Florida training center down there. You can go to wrestling school with.
Yes, I highly recommend it here. They do great stuff. WXW.
Yeah.
I have people that probably
there.
are mad at me for not voting them through. Sorry, Vertigo.
All right. So now here's what we're going to do. We have gotten all the pleasantries out of the way. We have gotten our thoughts out on all these wonderful tag teams. This is where we kick it into overdrive and have a lot of fun because there are going to be some very, very tough matchups here. But really, 10, 15 seconds, you got to spit them out. There's going to be some heartbreaks here, I'm sure, throughout these brackets. But we got to get to a champion here. So we got to go around the horn very, very quickly. You got to make a snap decision. So we're going to start here with Steve Mesa. We got the Outsiders versus the Bar. Quickly.
Outsiders,
All right.
NWO for
Awesome.
life.
All right, Richie.
The Outsiders.
Owens.
Man, they don't just set the bar; they are the bar. My vote goes to the Outsiders.
All right, Jacob.
I actually would have went the bar here.
And I'll stick with the Outsiders. So the Outsiders will move on. All right, scrolling on down. We got the Miracle Violence Connection versus the Briscoes. New School Briscoes, that is. Richie.
Dim Boys of Briscoes.
Jordan?
First off, by God, this would have been a fucking hard-hitting match. Let's.
Yeah, it would have been.
What
I think we're going to
been,
encounter some nice dream matches in each of their primes along the way.
Yeah,
there'll be some good ones to think about.
These them boys were born, 20 years earlier. Them other boys, the Miracle Violence Collection, were born 20 years later. By God. But I gotta go with them boys, Briscoes.
Jacob.
Yeah, the Briscoes.
Yeah, I got to go. Jay and Mark here, putting on fucking great matches for 20 years. Steve.
Briscoes, baby.
Briscoes. All right. There could be heavy favorites here. Briscoes. Moving on to the Brainbusters. Tully and Arn versus the Minnesota Wrecking Crew. Anderson versus Anderson here. Let's see which one you side with, JPO.
The one with the least grumpiest Anderson, that's Arn, the Brainbusters.
All right. Fair enough. Jacob.
These are both such cool tag team names, too. The Brainbusters.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Tully and Arn. I really love the Brainbusters. Steve.
I mean, you got to have Bobby the Brain Heenan there. The fact that they have him there, it gives a factor there. Brainbusters.
And Richie?
Yeah, Tully and Arn, Brainbusters.
All right, it's a clean sweep for the Brainbusters. We got the Lucha Brothers, Lucha Bros versus Ten Cozy. All right, I think this was kind of similar to the other match we had, Japan versus Mexico. We have a rematch of sorts here with Tenzan. So, Jacob, what do you got?
Lucha Bros.
Okay. I'm sticking with Japan and going Ten Cozy. Steve?
I'm also sticking with Japan. I'm sticking with Ten Cozy.
Okay, Richie.
No offense to Japan, I'm just going with Lucha Brothers.
Shame on you.
All right, Owens.
Let me flip a coin. Just kidding. Lucha Brothers.
Oh, and there goes Japan's hopes for continuing the tournament. Sorry, Lucha wins in this one. And we got the APA versus the Young Bucks. That would have been an interesting match back in the day, I would say. Maybe not a great one, but it would have been
young snarky.
Yeah, they might have taken some liberties with the Young Bucks there. But all right, I'm up first. This is closer than you would think, but I'll go the Young Bucks. I know that sounds weird, but I'll go Bucks. It's my Attitude Era brain speaking. So, Steve.
Young Bucks, baby.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, I'm going to go Young Bucks here, but I love APA.
Owens?
I still go Miz and Morrison, but if I can't, I'll go with the artist formerly known as Generation Me.
All right. And Jacob?
I will also go. I'll go with Max and Jeremy Buck.
All right. All right. Young Bucks moving on. We got Daniels and Kazarian, whatever you want to call them, versus the New Age Outlaws. And that's the real picture of the New Age Outlaws. Not the Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. So, yeah. All right. So Daniels and Kazarian versus the Outlaws. Steve Mesa.
Your ass better call somebody. New Age Outlaws.
Richie.
Oh, you didn't know? My vote's going to the New Age Outlaws.
Well, yeah, me first.
I skipped you. My bad. I got excited.
Steal my thunder.
That's
okay. I got 3 words for you, New Age Outlaws.
All right. Jacob?
Now you can talk, Jordan.
You didn't.
He already did. Skip his ass. He already did. Jacob, you go.
Oh, here. Muted. I will go with the New Age Outlaws.
Yeah, I'll make it a sweep for the Outlaws. All right.
A lot of sweeps in the second round.
Yeah, I mean, some of them we'll get to some hard ones. Oh, here we go. Hart Foundation versus the Dudley Boys. That's a tough one right there. We'll see what happens. Richie. Okay, another hard one. Sorry, you get all the hard ones right off the bat. There you go.
I think in terms of longevity, I'm gonna go Dudley Boys.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Dudley Boys as well. Oh, sorry.
Are you
Jordan.
kidding me? You son of a bitch. Now I know how it feels.
See, Jacob, and that wasn't me
feel
calling
good.
Jordan Jacob or Jacob Jordan. That was all you. So I didn't say a damn thing. All right, Jordan.
Now I know how it feels, and it doesn't feel good. I'm sorry, Richie. Yeah, let's put the Hart Foundation through a table. The Dudleys.
Jacob.
Yeah, the Dudleys.
Yeah, much love to the Hearts. I wish they could have gone a little further, but it's going to be the Dudleys on this one.
3D, Dudleys.
All right, 3D. And next we got the Kings of Wrestling, Hero and Castagnoli versus the Rock and Roll Express.
Oh, no.
Wow. Okay. It's funny we say a match that would be great, but these guys theoretically could have a match, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know, kind of.
Claudio, you're free
Theoretically.
agent, man.
Yeah.
Claudio.
Get on the indies already.
Yeah,
Make it
right.
happen.
So JPO, you're first on this one. This could be a tough
man.
one. We'll see what happens here.
This is a tough one. Because I'm a huge Ring of Honor guy, I'll go Kings of Wrestling.
All right, Jacob.
Kings of Wrestling.
No, rock and roll. Rock and roll for 5 decades. Rock and roll. Steve, back me up.
Sorry, Pez. If Cesaro's going to move on, I want him to move on as Claudio with Hero, Kings of Wrestling.
Oh!
Wow. Wow, Richie.
I would have said rock and roll.
Wow, I could have sworn rock and roll would at least be in the Elite 8. We're gonna get shit for that. I'll tell you that right now. For them not being in the Elite 8 poll, that's gonna hurt. That's gonna hurt. Because I would have put if we were doing seeds, they'd be top 5. I think that'd be pretty easy to say. But anyways,
yeah,
there's gonna be tough matches on this side too. We got the Usos, a tag team or matches that have happened. The Usos versus Gallows and Anderson.
Yeah.
Pretty sure Gallows
Jacob.
and Anderson debuted by attacking the Usos.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
But this time the Usos will get the upper hand, and also my vote.
Usos ain't been to Japan. Gallows and Anderson.
I'm sure WWE over Japan. Yeah, they have.
Were they not at least in the East?
Japan, baby. Gallows and Anderson.
Richie.
Yeah. Look, I'm sure Uso has been to Japan. I'm sure they've been to Japan as tourists. And checked out all the sites. So Usos.
All right, Jordan, come down to you.
Whew, I'm sorry, man. If you tell me who am I going to watch in a match? Who am I paying for? I'm paying to see the Usos.
Wow.
The Usos. Wow. Gallows and Anderson are out. Usos moving on. Got the New Day versus FTR. Wow. So
once again,
right.
the Revival debuted on the main roster by accepting the New Day's open challenge.
Oh wow. Okay. So yeah, this is actually happening. Okay. Wow. All right. I'm up first, man. I got a tough one this time. New Day and FTR. I'll go with the ones I'd rather watch right now. That's FTR. Steve.
This is easy for me. New Day.
Richie.
Oh, man, I wish you would talk more, Steve. This is annoying. And
hey, I can't fault him for adhering to the speed round rules. I can't fault him for that.
No.
He's
Fair
being
enough.
quick.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Say yeah, FTR.
Jordan.
New Day rocks and gets my vote.
Oh man!
It comes down to Jacob's. Got to break the tie on this one. Here we go.
We're gonna fight. It's no matter who I vote for. People in the poll are gonna be like, "Hey, where's the New Day?" Or "Hey,
where's the so and so? Where's the so and so?" Yeah.
All blame you. Only you get the blame, Jacob.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the New Day.
Yay!
Oh, and there goes FTR. Not even gonna make it into the poll. Damn.
But
man,
it's like It's 50.1 to like 49.9.
Yeah.
More like fuck the revival.
Yeah.
Forever the
All right.
revival.
Battle of TNA here.
It's another team that I think they had matches
I'm
back
sure
in the
they
day.
fought. They
LAX
must have,
versus
right?
Motor City Machine Guns. Yeah, so Steve Mesa, the Guns versus LAX.
Steve Mesa and the Guns. Yes. Motor City Machine Guns.
All right, Richie.
Yeah, the guns, machine guns.
Okay, Jordan.
My good friend McFoley said they were the best tag team going at that point, and I agree. Motor City Machine Guns.
Jacob. His
They're
number
my
one
pick
pick.
to-
I'm assuming I know.
They're
Yeah,
my pick.
there you go.
They're my pick to win this whole thing, the Machine Guns.
Yeah, I'll make it a sweep for the Guns. All right. And going on, got Fish and O'Reilly versus Edge and Christian. Wow, this would have been a great match in their primes as well. Yeah, Edge and Christian versus Fish and O'Reilly. Richie, and here you go. You got another tough one.
Every time.
Yeah.
I guess because, like I said, I want to get Edge and Christian, Hardy's, and Dudley's pretty fast. So I'll say Edge and Christian. But that's
Yeah.
Break out the kazoos, Edge and Christian.
All right, Jacob.
You know what? I'm gonna go Fish and O'Reilly here.
Hell yeah.
Well, we know what Steve wants.
Well, well, sorry, Steve, but I'm going to give a 5-second pose
Boo.
for Edge and Christian.
yes.
You trade your Japan. You trade
I was
Japan.
actually worried you're going to spike.
Give me your tracksuit.
Edge and Christian.
Where's your New Japan tracksuit?
No, I'm not going to spike vote Edge and Christian. I like Edge and Christian. I just like the Steiners more. So, all right. Edge and Christian moves on. All right, scrolling on down. Got the Road Warriors
This would be a good match.
versus DIY. DIY versus the Road Warriors. Jordan Owens. Yeah, LOD and DIY.
We gotta get some old school in the poll, or we'll be roasted, y'all. Road Warriors.
Mhm. Well, we haven't gotten to the poll just yet. That'll be the next round, so we'll see what actually makes it to the poll. We're not there yet.
Yeah.
One more round. Yeah, Jacob.
Just because I know where this is going, DIY.
LOD all day. Mesa.
Animal Hawk. What a rush.
Mm-hmm. And Richie.
I never heard "What a Rush" in such a normal way. What a rush!
What a rush.
What a rush. What a rush.
What a rush!
LOD 2000. I mean LOD. Road Warriors.
Yeah. All
Animal
right.
and draws.
I thought it was Animal and
Heidenreich.
Heidenreich.
Yeah.
No, that's LOD 2005.
Mm-hmm. All right, Road Warriors moving on. Scrolling on down. We got the Midnight Express versus Team Hell No. All right, Jacob. This could go either way. Because I don't know if the old school get the respect. We'll see. Jacob.
Yeah, I just got to go off of entertainment factor for myself personally and go Team Hell No.
For my money, the best pure wrestling tag team, old school tag team ever, Midnight Express.
I will follow that endorsement, Pez, and say Midnight Express.
Hell no.
No. Hey, you missed me again.
Yeah. Richie, goddammit. Stop
You
it.
did it again.
Stop it, Jordan.
You did it again.
You got to mute his ass. You got to mute his ass.
The
You should
Midnight,
vote for Midnight Express against them, just in spite.
the Midnight Express.
Hell yeah.
All right. Jordan, now you may speak.
Hell no.
No, you can.
Team Hell no.
Oh, okay.
All right. Well, it's a
But
close
that's
one.
still 3-2.
Midnight's right. Wait for my cue. God damn it! I will cue you when it's your time to vote. I'm the host here, and Jacob will mute your ass if you don't. So, all right, here we go. All right. So we got Kevin Steen and El Generico versus the Hardy Boys, which would have been a great match, circa maybe late 2000s. I'll go first. I love Steen and Generico, but you got to go longevity with the Hardys.
I grew up with the Hardys, so I'm going with the Hardys.
All right, Richie. But you're muted now. See, I gave you your spot to say, and you're muted. See, oh my God, Jesus!
All right, I'll go.
Let's get it together. Come on, people.
Hardy Boys.
Hardy Boys. Okay, Jordan.
Hardy Boys.
He's ashamed to show his face. Jacob.
Clean sweep.
All right, clean sweep of the Hardys. Okay, scrolling on down. This might be the last one. Los Guerreros versus, I believe, Santana and Ortiz. All right. Santana and Ortiz versus the Guerrero. Steve. Yeah, Steve Mesa.
I am going to go with Los Guerreros.
Okay, Richie.
I'll go the other direction. I'll say Santana Ortiz.
Okay, fair enough. JPO.
Santana and Ortiz.
Jacob.
Los Guerreros.
Wow.
Let's lie and cheat and steal, guys. Los Guerreros.
Hell yeah.
All right. Los Guerreros rolling through. And that's the end of that side for the six. Okay, so now we are into our Sweet 16. The winners of these matches will make our Elite 8 poll in the Schmodown Friends and Family Facebook page tomorrow, so you can look for that. So make your decisions wisely, as the winners of these will make the poll, and we will get roasted for the ones that don't. So here we go. We will start with Richie for, the Outsiders versus the Briscoes. Richie, make sure you unmute yourself. There you go.
Yeah.
All
this
right.
This would have been an interesting match back in the day, but I'm going to go longevity here, and I'm going to say the Briscoes.
All right, Jordan.
Them boys, the Briscoes.
Okay. Jacob.
Yeah, the Briscoes.
Rest in peace, Razor Ramon, but the Briscoes. Steve.
Them boys.
Them boys are the Briscoes. The first one's in the poll. I had a feeling they are a favorite. All right. We're scrolling down. We got the Brainbusters versus the Lucha Bros. Okay, that would have been a hell of an interesting match back in the day as well. So, yeah, all those guys in their prime. But we will start with Jordan Owens on this one. Brainbusters and Lucha Bros.
Lucha Brothers.
Jacob.
Lucha Brothers.
Tully and Arn, Brainbusters. Heenan family.
Tully and Arn, Brainbusters.
All right, Richie, down to you.
I'm going to do it. Brainbusters.
Yeah.
Oh, old school prevails in this one. The Brainbusters moving to the
None of that
poll.
flippy shit.
Yeah, none of that flippy bullshit. Just beat the shit out of you.
Oh,
Put
speaking
your
of
face
this,
into the ground.
Speaking of
Oh, wow.
flippies.
Speaking of that, yeah. Another match that I feel like theoretically could have happened at some point. I don't know. New Age Outlaws versus the Young Bucks. Yeah. All right. New Age Outlaws on Young Bucks. Jacob.
The Young Bucks.
I'm going to go with the team that doesn't feel as choreographed. I'm going to go with the Outlaws.
I'm going to go the opposite of what you picked, Austin. I'm going with the Young Bucks.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I might be in the minority. Fair. Richie?
Young Bucks.
All right. And Jordan.
You don't think Road Dogg shit wasn't choreographed? Come on. Young Buck.
Yeah.
I just mean it doesn't look like they're doing gymnastics in the ring. That's all I mean. That's what I'm going to say. All right. So the Dudley Boys versus the Kings of Wrestling. This would have been a hell of a match back in the day as well. So I'm up first. Damn, do I love the Kings of Wrestling, but there's I don't think there's ever been a team quite like the Dudley Boys as far as just dominating everywhere. So Dudleys.
Sorry, Kings of Wrestling. You lasted so long. Dudleys.
You almost made it, Richie.
For some reason, and somehow you beat Rogan with the Rock and Roll Express. So I'm going to say Dudley Boys.
Yeah, this could have been the Rock and Roll versus the Dudleys, and that would have been the hardest match so far. But anyways, Jordan.
I love Ring of Honor, but I love the Dudleys. The Dudleys.
All right.
Clean sweep.
And clean sweep. Fair enough. All right. So we've got our first four. We've got the Briscoes, the Brainbusters, the Young Bucks, and the Dudley Boys all making it into the poll. We'll see what makes it on the other side. And we will start with Steve Mesa for the Usos and the New Day. Guys that have matches How many matches they had against each other? God knows how many.
Like
Probably
Over 50.
hundreds.
83.
Hundreds. I don't know. Yeah,
They're
who
probably
knows?
wrestling each other right now.
Yeah, they probably are.
Yeah.
Just-
So
Well, who's going to be the ultimate winner in this this rubber match here? So we'll start with Steve Mesa.
I'm
We'll
going
see.
with what the WWE have listed as the greatest tag team of all time, and that would be the New Day.
Okay, Richie.
So this is going to be divisive. I think when it comes down to it, the better tag team is the Usos. So I'm going to say the Usos.
Okay, Jordan.
Down since day one, and so am I, the Usos.
Okay, Jacob.
I think I will go with the New Day.
Oh, he's going to put it on me. And probably the person on the panel who's seen the least amount of their matches. So now I got to decide. Because I don't watch it every week to week. You know what? Just because I appreciate their commitment to looking like a tag team and working like a tag team, the Usos.
Wasn't sure where you were going there.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, we got the Motor City Machine Guns versus Edge and Christian. Oh, boy. This would have been a hell of a match, too. Circa 2004, 2005. All right, Richie, guess what?
Guess
what? Guess what? Well,
Edge and Christian.
Okay, Jordan Owens.
Yeah, I gotta go ENC. Edge Christian.
You don't have to. You want to think about it?
Wait, Edge Christian.
I'm gonna go with the Motor City Machine Guns.
He said that you knew it, right?
I think they're the better tag team.
But you said that like you know it's fake. You're like,
I know. I know.
You know what? I'm just gonna make it interesting and put it on Mesa, and I'll say the Guns.
Hey, Steve! Remember that time I put the Japanese tag team through for you?
I remember that. I haven't really done anything for you, but can you
remember the Attitude Era? Remember how great the Attitude Era TLC was? Yeah.
All right, so I have the chance to either move on the Motor Machine Guns or the Edge and Christian, reeking of awesomeness. I mean, I don't know. Just like taking my time here.
We also like chaos on tournament fights. I'm just saying.
I mean, we do, but not in this round. You know what I mean?
All right. I'm going to go with the tag team that has done a really good comedy show, and that's Edge and Christian.
Oh, so close.
Hate you guys
all. So close. Hey, congrats to the Motor City Machine Guns. They had a hell of a run and almost making it there. So great tag team. All right. So we got the Road Warriors versus the Midnight Express, a match that happened many times actually back in the day. Road Warriors and the Midnight Express. So you can actually go look that one up and watch it. Jordan Owens, you'll be first up for the Warriors and the Midnight Express.
As Steve once said, very heroically, oh, what a rush. Hawk and Animal.
Okay, Jacob.
Midnight Express.
I'm going to go with the team that I watch more of and study more of, Midnight Express.
I'm going with the Road Warriors.
Oh, it's on you, Richie.
I'm going to have a team I've seen more of, and that's the Road Warriors.
Oh, Midnight Express just edged out there by the Road Warriors. But much love to the Road Warriors. I'm not mad that they made it through.
Hardy Boys.
Oh, and we've got the Hardy Boys and Los Guerreros.
Guys, all on 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Los Guerreros.
Oh, wow.
Hardy Boys.
That was unexpected. Hardys.
Yeah, Hardys.
Hardy Boys.
We were kind of out of order, but Jacob, anyways. Yeah,
we did.
That's all right. I'll start with Jacob next time. That's fine. All right.
Well, that's why the
Hardy Boys
I said,
are the last ones for me.
I voted first. I said Los Guerreros. And then everyone after me proceeded with the Hardys.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
I just didn't like that Steve was trying to skip me.
Okay, I gotcha. All right, so we have our Elite Eight. Now we'll get to a champion by our Elite Eight for this episode so far. The Usos, Edge and Christian, Road Warriors, Hardy Boys, the Briscoes, the Brainbusters, the Young Bucks, and the Dudley Boys. There will be some really hard matches coming up. I can just guarantee that right off the bat, as we got the Briscoes and the Brainbusters. I'll go first. I'm glad the Brainbusters made it through this far. I really enjoy them, but them boys, the Briscoes, is what I will go with. Steve?
You know what? I'm going to vote for the Brainbusters.
All right. Richie?
You know what? Briscoes.
Knew that was coming. Jordan?
Yeah, well, you both know what? Briscoes.
All
Yeah,
right.
well,
Jacob?
the Briscoes.
Yeah. All right. Briscoes making it into the final four. As we've got the Young Bucks versus the Dudley Boys.
Oh,
This
God.
could
Oh,
be
man.
contentious. Oh boy.
If
Oh.
Devon couldn't wrestle anymore, we could potentially see this.
We
match.
probably could have seen this match at some point. Yeah, definitely. Steve Mesa, Dudleys versus the Bucks. What do you got?
Bucks.
Richie?
Dudley Boys.
Jordan?
Dudley Boys.
Jacob?
Dudley Boys.
Voila! Dudley Boys.
Also, just to
All
say real
right.
quick, by the way, the final Dudley Boys match was a four-way with Private Party, the Hardy Boys, and EYFBO, which is Santana and Ortiz.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Over on the other side, we got maybe the best of one era versus the best of another era, or one of them. Edge and Christian versus the Usos. Again, would have been a hell of a match back in the day. So, Richie, you got this one.
Man. No, I think we need some. It would be good to have a modern era tag team in here. So I'm going to say the Usos.
Okay, Jordan.
Also, the Dudleys did fight the Young Bucks in 2015 for House of Hardcore. Sorry, I wasn't even paying attention because I was looking that up. Let's go, Edge and Christian.
I will
All right,
go with
Jacob.
the Usos. The Usos.
Well, I mean, the Briscoes are a modern tag team for.
Oh, yeah, I
I
guess
don't
so.
know. I mean, they're kind of a blend of both. They've been around for a long time, but I consider them
Yeah.
somewhat of a modern tag team. I'm going to go with. I'll make it interesting. Go Edge and Christian. Put it on Mesa.
Usos.
All right, the
Oh, you
Usos.
want to think about that for a sec?
Nope.
All right. He didn't have to think about it. He loves the Usos. All right, we got the Road Warriors and the Hardy Boys. So, man, this one could get interesting. Jordan Owens, LOD, and the Hardys.
Oh, what a Hardy Boys.
What a Hardy.
All right, Jacob.
Even though I've seen more of the Hardys, I feel like we need to get some of that old school representation in the final four. Road Warriors.
This is both teams that lasted a really long time. I'm going to go old school in this one and go Road Warriors. Steve.
I'm going to say Hardys.
All right, Richie, it's on you.
That's the only reason you did that, Steve. That's the only way you wanted to put it on your I'm going to go to the Hardys.
All right, the Hardys move on to the final four. All right, we got some juicy matchups here for who's going to make it to the championship. We'll start with Jacob for the Briscoes versus the Dudley Boys. And this is something. All right, Jacob, you got to go first.
The Briscoes.
I'm going to take all of my 10 seconds on this one. Briscoes ripped out their finisher from Road Warriors. Dudley Boys' original Dudleys. Mesa.
Dudley's ECW, baby.
All right, Richie.
Dudley Boys.
Oh, and Jordan.
Sad this match never happened, actually, it looks like.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with them boys, Briscoes.
Oh, okay, and it was close as we predicted, but the Dudley Boys 3-2 make it into the title match with all them titles around their shoulders right there. As we move over to the other side for the Usos versus the Hardys, again, would have been a hell of a match. I don't think they ever crossed paths. I'm pretty sure, but yeah.
No.
So I'm up first. I'll say the Hardy Boys pretty easily on this one. Steve.
Hardy Boys.
All
I'm
right,
going back
Richie.
and forth. I'm going back and forth here, but I will say the Hardys.
All right, Jordan.
The Hardys actually won the SmackDown tag titles from the Usos in April of 2019 on SmackDown. But in this match, they lose to the Hardys via me, the Hardys.
All right, and Jacob.
I would have went with the Usos, but the Hardys
All
made
right.
it through.
All right, and with a match we've seen countless times back in the day, countless
live.
times.
Way to be
Yeah.
original, guys.
Yeah. Well, hey, they were two of the greatest that lasted a long time, and in one case they're still working. Dudley Boys versus the Hardy Boys. We've seen it many times, but who's going to win this one? Steve Mesa, you're up first, right at the bottom of the ladder.
No, I'm just kidding. Hardys.
All right, Hardy Boys. Richie.
I'm not kidding. Dudley Boys.
All right, Jordan.
The Dudley Boys have been deleted. The Hardy Boys.
The Hardy Boys?
Jacob. The Hardy Boys? Yes.
The Hardy Boys?
The Hardly Boys?
Did you mean to say brothers and then said switch it to boys halfway through?
Two words.
Yeah.
2 words behind boys.
I'm gonna go
All
with the
right.
Dudleys.
Oh, it's on me. Well, you know what, Steve Mesa? Let me pull the shirt up for the final one. ECW. Dudley Boys. I'm putting them through, and they're going to win. The Dudley Boys doing the damn thing. They win the final championship of the Ultimate Tag Team Champions tonight. The Dudleys, look at all that gold around their shoulders. Come on. You can't argue with that. They picked it up everywhere they went. And been doing it forever. So good job, but a good run to everybody. Thank you to everybody on the panel tonight for participating in this. I know there's some tough matches. There always is. We're big wrestling fans when you have to pick one or the other. But much love to a lot of these teams. We love them to pieces. So there's a little screenshot. Any surprises tonight? Motor City Machine Guns having a good run. The Brainbusters making it in there. Yeah, Rock and Roll Express. Yeah, Rock and Rolls and the Steiners not making it into the poll will hurt a lot of people.
Steiners not making it out of round one.
Not making it out of round one. That one's tough. That they couldn't go up against the Bushwhackers or something. It's something a little easier. It's unfortunate, but that's tournament fights and that's the randomizer. So, all right, Jacob, put away that bracket. Let's bring everybody back up, and we'll go around the horn as we always do at the end of the show. Steve Mesa, I know you want to plug your Mesa Media. Plug away, sir. What do you got?
Plug. Mesa Media 1, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram at Mesa85, Mesa85. I'm going to be shooting a show down here at Homestead. It's a CCW Coastal Championship Wrestling presents Saturday Night Slams. It's going to feature my boy, the Florida man, TC Reed, going up against Fuego del Sol, and much more, and along with I don't got nothing much more else. That's about it. Yep.
All right, sounds good, Mr. Mesa. Richie, what do you got to plug besides being all over the Movie Hero Network on a lot of our panels? Anything else you want to plug? I was just a judge on your first. I won't spoil it, but I was just a judge on your first Battleground match, which I'm sure will debut at some point. So that was fun.
Yeah. Judge on that. Yeah. So I was mentioning as a judge on my match earlier today with John Ma. So check that out when it debuts. And then I'm always on this channel, whether it be appearing as a guest on a podcast about wrestling, or on tournament fights or tier ranker. I'm sure that not sure of your schedule, but I think the next one I'm on is like the championship for the One Crazy Night, maybe. I don't know. I'm thinking it. And then catch me on. And if I'm not there, you can catch me on Jordan Owens' channel, doing all the trivia stuff sometimes, and then I'm around. I'm around this place, but yeah, that's about it.
All right, sounds good. JPO, what do you got, sir?
Yes, you can catch me live May 27th. Real Pro Wrestling is returning to the Fort Myers area at the Crown Plaza. Got a great card for you, a dog collar match. Cody Deaner from Impact will be on the card as well, so that's going to be really fun. The very next night, too, a very special event that I'm a part of every year. I believe this year is in Tampa, actually. It's in Tampa this year. Fighting for a Cure. We've raised over like $40,000 over 6 events. This will be the 7th one. All proceeds go towards the American Cancer Society. This year we got the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart in the house. Legend Haku, aka Ming, will be in the house, and I'll be in the house. So what more do you want, people? So those will be 2 events I'm very excited about. Of course, the Pierce Wrestling Channel, wrestling trivia, exclusive wrestling matches. I just released a Alex Reynolds match from the Dark Order. Soon I'm gonna release an old Danhausen match when he had a first name. Ooh, spooky, evil. And over the Pierce Code Channel movie trivia podcast. And let's not forget Thursdays, me, Jacob, maybe Richie, the Lonely Marks podcast. It's got a new name because we fell in love with it.
Can I come on there for at least a few minutes and talk about how the Jackass match was the greatest WrestleMania match of all time?
Are
just
you
for a little
lonely?
bit.
Are you lonely? And you're a Mark, so it fits. The Lonely Marks will have a 4th guest this week. We'll be talking WrestleMania, of course, all the happenings of the Mania, the Knoxvilles, the polls. What more could you want? I'm on this channel from time to time. Thank you for hosting, Jacob, Austin, Jordan for the graphics, Richie for your time, Mesa Media. Check him out. I love each and every one of you more than you'll ever know.
All right, and my co-host for this evening, running the visuals tonight, Mr. Jacob Barber. What do you got to plug, sir?
Jordan, he spoiled it. He spoiled the Lonely Marks title. That's the new name of our wrestling podcast. It is now the Lonely Marks because we were just joking around and we kind of liked the name, so it's sticking.
Now, is this Lonely Marks episode 5, or do we call this Lonely Marks debut?
Oh, this is Lonely Marks episode 1.
Really? Okay.
Totally.
If you're gonna bring me on board, then it has to, the podcast for wrestling, that's your deal. Lonely Marks is all that.
It's Lonely Marks. We're Ezekiel-ing this whole thing.
Right.
There's going to be no mention of a podcast about wrestling. No mention. We're going to Elias that, and this is
the Ezekiel podcast. No.
I prefer to think of it as your Kerwin Whiting it, and erasing Chavo Guerrero, but I mean that's.
If you're Kerwin Whiting, we might get canceled. Let's not do that.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, like you said, we will be talking all things WrestleMania and maybe hitting on a few other things that happened over the weekend because there was a lot.
Yeah. I'll be talking about it.
And then on Saturdays, Austin and I have a podcast about movies. Maybe we'll come up with a cool title for that too. We just talked the 50th anniversary of The Godfather, and that was a fun discussion. So if you want to hear our thoughts and hear some good discussion, especially from this guy over here, he has
lonely.
I love The Godfather. I love The Godfather. Yes.
So. Yeah, it was a good almost hour and a half just about The Godfather, and it was fun. And we'll probably go live this Saturday with a topic TBD. So, yeah.
We'll come up with something, and we'll talk about stuff. So that'll be fun. Thanks again to Movie Hero Jordan Anderson, the founder, the godfather of this channel, if you will, for putting the bracket together. A few little flubs aside, but that's why we love them. The Fanatics and those great Volkov and Sheik. What great champions. Great stuff. But thank you again for putting that together. We really appreciate it. We had a good time tonight with our wrestling panel, putting this all together. I'll go ahead and plug a few of the Movie Hero channel things. I don't know all the specific panel members for each of these, but I do know the dates. This Friday we'll be doing continuing our sitcom series of tier anchor fights, talking about 80 sitcoms as we start to wrap that one up, and then we'll be talking about 70s right down the line, and then have our sitcom championship. Next week we have our championship for our One Crazy Day / night tournament. So that'll be a lot of fun with a mini bracket of 32, taking the 16 from each of the 2 parts of the tournament. We had 128 of them. We were taking the Sweet 16 from each one and coming up with an ultimate winner. So that'll be great. We're going to be doing a Oscar series, continuing that on the 15th. And we've got our tournament championships for rom-coms and the Tier Ranker Sports Championship coming up. We're going to take all the sports winners and determine the best sports movies of all time from our 60 of our different series. So that'll be fun as well. So I'll kind of wrap it up here. Just want to tease, well, I'm sure this panel can get together at some point. We got more ideas for more wrestling tournaments, so we could definitely keep it going with some other topics. We could obviously do best female wrestlers of all time. Absolutely is on the docket. And we've been talking about best factions. That would be a lot of fun as well if we can come up with 64 factions from all across the ages. That would be fun as well.
Right now.
Yeah, I know. They've got about 1,000 of them right now. So, but we'll determine the best ones of all time. And yeah, any other topics we come up with? I'm sure there's some other ones down the line we could.
I could think about off the top of my head. I don't know if you can count 64, but you mentioned Cohen. I'm thinking like top 6 like worst gimmicks.
Maybe that could be a fun one if we want to do sort of almost like a worst movies thing, like we've done with tournament fights. If we want to do like most horrendous gimmicks of all time or forgettable and worst, ever. We could do that just for fun and maybe vote on what we think is the worst gimmick or the worst wrestlers or whatever. So we could definitely
do that. One I mentioned before that I think we should do at one point. Best theme songs.
Theme songs, yeah, we could, except for the fact the only thing that sucks about that is we can't play any of them on the show.
Oh, that's right.
But yeah, unfortunately, but we would just have to kind of remember them. We can sing along with them on the show. We just can't play the official tune. But yeah, we could sing them if we wanted to as they come up. That'd be all right. But yeah, a couple of ideas. So we'll definitely keep a wrestling series going occasionally. Maybe every 2 months or so we'll reconvene and do that. Maybe female wrestlers might be the next one on the docket because we need to get the ladies their due and check that one out. So all right, that'll about wrap it up for this evening. Hey, we came in at around 3 hours. That's a good time for tournament fights these days, and they're in our days of 4 hours and 4.5 hours, and we had a 5-hour show one time, so we kept it short and sweet. I appreciate that for everybody as we'll wrap it up here. Thanks again to Jacob for running the board tonight, again to Jordan Anderson for putting everything together. Thanks to our panel, Steve Mesa, Richie, Jordan Owens, Jacob Barber. I'm Ref Pez, Austin Howell, and we'll see you guys next time.